combination.
I just want us to like spread things out. Like I'd be much happier if it wasn't just whiskey.
Look, I'll get some clear liquor, okay? The beer was just the more accessible stuff for this week.
No, I'm not. It's not a judgment on you. What's that beer we
It's also Emily likes clear liquor, so it actually makes sense to stock some here anyway. So.
No, I mean,
So you would rather have like a rum or
I will bring bottles of
vodka.
liquor. No,
so do you actually like rum, or is it just like you like it better than whiskey?
I like rum.
We just finished. I like rum too, so I can get some rum for the house. That's totally fine.
I can.
You prefer mixed or?
Again,
in
it's a
some way?
combination. You know, Brian brings shit all the time. I have some
Exactly.
stuff for the house.
I'm gonna bring stuff.
It's all.
I just
Brian
leave
doesn't
mine
bring
here.
shit. Brian brings this
Brian
delicious
being
maple flavored liqueur.
Is that maple?
This one's not. I just drink this.
I brought
maple
one.
for this
It was a
one.
couple
Back in
weeks ago.
December or January, I brought
From New York.
something from New York.
Yeah, I need to bring a decent bottle of rum.
It will be welcome here.
Yeah.
Is that
Menu
anything else?
is growing.
Yep.
All right. So last time on BionDnD, she's doing homework. She will be joining us a little later, possibly,
Oh, okay.
but may be missing tonight's session.
In that case.
Jasna
Yes,
read
right
shit, and right now she's doing homework.
Because of it.
Yeah.
Last time on BionDnD, you all fought a dragon. That was it. That was the session. That was
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Summary done.
God damn it.
I befriended another kobold.
Yeah.
This one's
There's actually a little bit more, which at the very end, I think his name was Jark.
No.
I don't think that's it.
Or did we just joke about
What
that
is
being-
this one is Jark.
Yeah. Who was entreating you to come and meet the leader of his tribe, Azu.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we're going to see.
Quit being such a jerk.
Your guys' goblin friend.
Yeah, it was, I think it was like, some of you were like, oh, what's his name? Jerk? And I was like, no, it's Jark.
None of us said that.
I feel like somebody said something about a jerk because he had been fighting against you in the battle, but then he was like, oh, no, never mind. But maybe I'm mistaken. I don't know.
I feel like if you said the name is Jark, I would have been like, oh, is he a jerk?
That's
We
very
don't-
possible. It
We
could have
don't
been
do
the other way around.
low-hanging puns, low-hanging fruit puns anymore, okay?
No,
That's
we
true.
very much do.
Not as much anymore.
Let us not do low-hanging fruit puns anymore.
We don't do really shitty Joel puns. But
That was where the low hanging was.
Jark.
Anyway, his name was Jark, and he was trying to get you all to.
did he fuck a shark?
Why?
Probably not.
That's just a rhyme, not a pun.
It's not impossible, but it's unlikely.
But it's
Trying
funny.
to start a
That down. That sounds like shark.
Like-
I can joke on
Like
that.
if I had to give it like a percentage likelihood, it would be somewhere in the range of
Once
like
was a dragon.
0.02%.
His name was Jark.
percent.
One time he did fuck a shark.
So I'm trying to start, limericks off the top of our heads. Just.
Oh my gosh.
Make it limericks instead of puns. To be the
Yeah.
There once was a kobold, Azu, who dreamed he was out in the blue. He awoke in the night, turned on the light, and found he had eaten
Pooped
a
in his
shoe.
shoe.
I don't know. I was just taking the man from Peru.
Found
one,
some poop
you
in
know.
his shoe.
This motherfucker be spitting.
Oh man.
Oh, please tell me that's being recorded.
Oh yeah. We're live. This is,
Oh, this is live?
yes,
Ha!
This is A-grade material right now.
absolutely. For 0 viewers.
We did a dragon.
Yeah, so you defeated a dragon, you made friends with a new kobold who is going to take you to his leader.
Is he really our friend, though? I mean,
He might also take you to his gallon. I'm not sure if he likes the imperial or the metric system. His leader.
Ha!
ow. That physically hurt me.
I literally just got it like 30 seconds ago.
Right here. Right in the shoulder.
Yeah, yeah. Above the heart.
Yeah.
It was like it almost sat in your heart, but then it like leapt and like where your heart leapt to.
Well, no, I think it was just maybe it was just more of a twitch. Me wanting to reach over and smack.
Yeah, yeah, with a little like muscle spasm. You're like, "Ah."
Oh, fuck, it was just a tick.
Right.
Sorry, I couldn't help it.
Sorry about that. Anyway, So he's going to take you to Azu, the chief of his tribe, and that's pretty much where we
We
left
were all
off.
going?
So we hadn't really decided that yet. I think we left off basically like him saying, "Hey, come meet Azu," or "Hey,
Did
come meet
anybody-
Azu."
Anybody take any scales or?
I was gonna
teeth
say,
or-
I would like take some scales or some shit.
Okay, sure. Go ahead and make anyone who's trying to do this make a survival check.
That's good.
You find anything, Jesse?
Lord, what the hell are you doing?
I got 21.
Morthos, Jesus!
Three,
It's already dead!
You found its dick.
Oh my god, yes! Yes! I forgot about that!
Yeah,
Holy
yes.
fuck!
Oh, he did!
Holy fuck! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Norman got murdered by a giant stone dragon dick.
I didn't. I tried to. I tried to,
He tried to encase the dragon's penis in stone. But then he learned something about dragon anatomy, which is their penises retract up and get covered over with scaly carapaces and
Nothing like a dog.
yeah. So like they're not visible, just you know, flying around. They're just like a giant dragon dong dangling through the skies.
Well, and then he wanted to, and then he stone shaped over his feet, and I asked the DM to please, for the love of God, let him have stone shaped the dragon's dick, so that he could have been raped to death by a stone dragon dick. Because then he was underneath of it as well. Remember, because it's touch range.
Yep.
You gotta touch the tip.
But we didn't get that far because he did notice it as he was like looking down to go for it. Was like, there's no dick there. Damn.
That was like a full 35 minutes.
Yeah.
Of the last
that
session.
was not.
Well, including the callbacks to the joke later, it probably did get to about half an hour.
Really?
More or less. Not of like constant.
We spent
stuff,
a lot
like-
of time focused on genitals.
as we're doing right now.
Okay.
This was like probably 3 or 4 minutes of just talking about dragon dicks.
Hey, it's a
You're getting scales.
very
important
broad
subject.
topic.
So what did you roll?
Felicia Day.
I got a 5.
Okay,
Felicia Day's a big fan of dragon dick.
I don't know who that is.
I do. What?
Magicians. She played a character in Magicians.
Oh!
who was,
Oh shit! I forgot I was measuring this.
super into dragon porn. That was her shtick.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was it. I
Did you
remember
see
that
that
episode.
episode?
Yeah,
Well,
That
few
was
episodes,
funny.
But yeah. It's
Oh,
like
wow.
that.
that actually is pretty close to a shot.
I'm.
It's a double.
What are you? Oh.
He's trying to portion himself out.
Dude, come on.
Well, it's his own liquor, so
It's a double, really. Just
But now you're gonna
being
smell
honest
it.
with yourself.
It's gonna be all over the place.
wait, it was 1 full shot glass, right?
Be all.
But there was a tiny bit left in the glass.
Yeah.
His meniscus rolled over.
And a shot isn't like a full.
We said to
shot
just
glass, it's about
put it into the wood.
80%.
Yeah.
That's fine for the wood. We've sealed it appropriately so
That's
it's not going to do
over
anything
2
but evaporate
ounces.
off.
Oh, I
And
thought you were
smelled
saying
it.
it's good for the wood at one
I
point.
do a lot of mixed
Yeah,
drinks,
it
so I
is.
have one
Oh,
of those
okay.
little
Jiggers.
little jiggers.
Yeah.
I do have several jiggers.
Yeah.
Nice.
A plethora of jiggers.
Why do you have a? I only need one.
You know.
Why do you need one?
You get the normal one, and then you get the one that's single and double turned over, and then you get
You
like
always
the,
get the doubles.
When your whole family thinks you enjoy alcohol a lot,
Oh, they
they
just
get
buy
you
you
things
jiggers.
for presents,
jiggers
and
are
they
cheap.
tend to be very alcohol related.
Okay.
That's
So
fair.
it's
A
here's
lot of them come
moose
in
with
kits.
antlers, holds alcohol equipment. Here's a
Yeah.
Okay.
here's a bottle opener. Here's we have bottle
So,
openers for every
scales?
room.
Yes. So, Morthos, as you're attempting to hack off dragon scales with your axe,
Teeth.
you wanted to get teeth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Morthos.
You kind of like you take your axe and you cut into the gums, and you just like you get one, but it's like real gross and grody, and it's gonna need a little bit of work to be travel worthy, or the flesh around it'll just rot. With a 5, I can't give you better than that. Sorry.
How heavy is it?
Let's see.
Is it like huge? Or?
Let's see. If the dragon itself was adult, meaning that it is technically size class huge. No, giant. Wait, what is it? Fuck, I don't remember what they are. The one above large or below gargantuan. That would put its teeth at probably about a foot long. So I'd say maybe. What would you think, Dennis? Bone that wide, that long?
It's freaking heavy, man.
Like
Yeah.
8
One
pounds, 10
scale?
pounds?
Yeah, you're probably looking like a
No,
Well,
not a
can-
scale,
can
a
I-
tooth.
A tooth.
tooth.
So bone density about a foot long.
Can I wrap it in a? Anybody have a sack I could wrap it in?
What's the
You have a
what's
bag of holding?
the
Give it a-
for the.
what's the
just
weight
So
of the
put it in the
femur?
bag of holding, maybe. Wrap it in a sack and
Yeah.
put it in there.
I don't know. I always have it with
Or
the
not
flesh
forget about
also, and that's not
Good luck
little.
with that.
So.
How much does a femur weigh?
Yeah, that's actually not
Great.
bad.
Look at, I just figured 20 pounds, 10 to 20.
And responds with, "Murder is wrong."
Did he give you an answer?
Weight of a femur.
I mean, you think about a ham. You can get like a 20-pound.
It's a trick.
A good bit of that is the bone.
Yeah.
I would guess more
Meat's
like
pretty
8 to
heavy
10.
compared to
useful-
bone, though. That's
I
why I'm
would
saying
guess
10
like
10
8 to
pounds.
10, maybe.
The weight of the male right femur ranged from 270 grams to 555 grams.
Whoa,
I'm right. 10 pounds.
grams.
2
Yeah.
kilograms is 5 kilograms. Doubled is a little over 10 pounds. So if we're rounding, 10
Wait,
pounds
a
is darn
femur
close.
being half a kilogram.
555.
Grams.
So that's half a kilo.
Oh, that's half a kilo. That's a lot lighter than I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
I mean,
way
I've
lighter
had
than I
bags of pot
expected.
that were that light.
Wait. How,
That's really
Much
light.
quicker.
Huh.
This was
But
bringing
teeth
back
have
across the
enamel
board.
and dentin. They're not cancerous
Red
bone.
Robin?
Yeah,
Red
but they
Robinson?
wouldn't be
Oh,
that
I
much
did not see
denser.
it.
If you have a whale tooth, you can hold it like this and not. Okay, yeah, maybe like a few pounds.
57
then.
pounds.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, we'll call it 4 pounds.
Okay. 4 pounds.
You have a 4-pound dragon tooth and like
Okay.
another 4 pounds of soon-to-be rotting meat around the outside.
Can I assume that I have a sack of on my thing? I'm probably not.
You've got a backpack. I'm pretty
I'm
sure
sure
every
you
kid
have a
comes
sack
with one.
underneath your thing.
Shouldn't
Can
get
I-
math after
Well,
I-
solo sack. That's not have a bunch of other shit.
Math after beer and whiskey.
Well, your sack does have shit in it.
You might have some. Check your inventory and see if you have anything like extra cloth or wraps. Or
Oh yeah, I might have something like that.
I have some fine bloody
A
clothes.
heavy bearskin cloak. Oh,
Throw it
I'm
in
wearing
Jaz's
that.
sack.
I hand you some
Some
bloody,
bloody
clothes.
There you go.
I have manacles.
They were fine bloody clothes.
They were once fine.
Why did you not wash them normally?
Oh, I found them somewhere. I forget where.
I'm pretty sure it was in the Shattered Citadel with the vampire
We've
at the
had
foot of
plenty
the
of
something like that,
opportunity
yeah.
to wash
So
them.
I can use it.
I don't think they were
Disgusting.
washable. I think they were just stained
Are they
permanently.
Oh wait,
bloody
can I just
fine clothes
cast
or
thaumaturgy
fine
on it?
bloody clothes though? Because those are different things.
They're the latter.
Can I just cast thaumaturgy on it?
They're not bloody
For
fine.
what?
They're
For the bloody
fine
clothes.
and bloody.
Why?
Oh, take
To
the
wrap-
blood stains off.
Those are still
Yeah, to wrap the tooth in it and then put it in the bag of holding.
Why not just wrap it in? Why do you need thaumaturgy?
To clean them.
To clean the. You're not gonna
Isn't that what
clean
you-
blood out of.
I think
clothes
prestidigitation.
with-
Prestidigitation. That's what I'm thinking of.
Oh, to clean the clothes?
Yeah, it'll clean
Maybe
them.
like some borax and vinegar. You'll probably get somewhere with that.
Sure. Do whatever you want. I don't want them.
Okay.
Alright.
What the fuck?
I don't
Alright,
want
so
these.
Morthos
I toss them.
wraps his
They're
tooth
bloody
in
rags to
some
me.
bloody clothes and puts it in Jasmine's bag of holding.
But I can still cast prestidigitation on the clothes,
Do
right?
you have it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I thought I had it.
I thought you had thaumaturgy.
I do. So
You
I
definitely
it
do.
for him.
Alright.
Okay.
Wait,
And then-
but does actually no? I don't do
Yeah.
that unless he asks me to, because I'm not thinking about that.
Yeah, fair enough. Do you want to ask him to?
But do
We've
you
seen
have
him
a
do
do
it
you have
before,
a
we would like to
reason
know.
to know that it would do that?
Yeah, he's seen you
I
clean
could
stuff.
have swore
with it.
I've
Okay.
done that to myself before.
Okay, then yeah, do.
Didn't I do it before my date?
No.
Cast
No, you actually took a
prestidigitation?
bath. You actually bathed.
No, I cast prestidigitation. As we were walking by to do
Alright.
little sparkles.
Yeah.
Let's just say you get the clean tooth.
Alright. Alright, the tooth is preserved now. You got a 21?
That
Yes.
looks really
Okay.
bloody.
Go ahead and roll a d12 for
There
me.
you go.
Okay.
And it's in character, it's canon now.
2.
Oof. With that much of a roll, I'm not going to let it be that low. So I'll just give you a bonus of +5. Sure. You get 7. dragon scales. Each of them is probably about 2 feet long and about 18 inches wide.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay.
2 feet.
Wow, I got some scales. Okay, got some scales there.
Go ahead and write down 20 square feet of dragon scale.
Hey, Norwin, where are you gonna put all that? What you gonna do with the dragon scales?
Jasna holds out the bag of holding.
Yeah, I have to put
Her
it in
eyes flash a little.
But first I tell her I'm getting these back.
I mean, of course.
That's not what she'd say. But
That's what she'd say.
Toads were like sure. Yeah.
But I keep one for myself.
Okay.
On my person.
Sure. And they are blue, just so you have that written down.
That's good to know.
Yeah. Came from a blue dragon.
Yeah.
Kidneys.
Mm-hmm.
No one who was listening to the audio could tell what that joke was supposed to be. So that
I'm
was
gonna ask.
lost on the audience.
I'll
Sorry,
ask the
guys.
Myrmidons, is there anything of value that you want to get from a dragon or a half-dragon corpse?
Before you do that, you turn to go over and ask them this, and they are burying Delilah.
Oh shit. Wait. I run over. Oh wait, do I
You're already
notice?
burying her?
Who's Delilah?
If
One
I
of the
notice-
Myrmidons died during the battle with the dragon.
if I notice this, I run over and I say, wait, I might be able to heal her.
They look at you and they say, "You're welcome to try."
She got straight up eviscerated.
Yeah, I have Revivify.
Yeah, it doesn't.
She's gonna go, wah!
So Revivify does not close mortal wounds.
Okay.
She'll stand up,
She was
fold over,
basically
and die.
bitten in half.
Oh, she was bitten in half.
Yeah.
Dude, she was like
Okay,
a
never mind.
straight
I don't say that.
Okay. But you could give her last rites, which is what I thought you were going to do.
Oh yeah,
I have
I'll say.
Revivify. Okay,
Would you like her to receive last rites?
This is getting real weird.
Yes, please. Okay.
Also, if you would
I
like to
should have let him spend the spell slot.
have any last words to her, I can pass them on.
We've said all
It's a
we
good
need to,
learning
thank you.
experience.
Surprised they gone right to that. Aren't we seconds after defeating?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I know that they need to move on. So
That's
it's
fast. Okay.
bury and get done with it. You
Okay.
all have also this is pretty much while and or after Norwin is doing the scavenging from the corpse, which is taking quite a while because they're dragon scales. They take a bit of time to dry off.
Well, I'm gonna ask Jark to help us dig, and I will help the Myrmidons.
Okay.
Doing whatever preparation is involved here.
Yeah, he'll help out.
Let's dig in.
He actually asks them if it's okay if he helps out, and they kind of look at him and look at you, and yeah, that's fine. More help makes things easier.
Look, there's already tombstones.
Yep.
Delilah, the half dragon, and the other half dragon.
Don't know why we buried
The
those.
kobolds don't get graves. There's a mass grave for them below the tower.
People
Why am I under the
my
dragon's
help doesn't
dick?
help. That's where I put you. That's where you belong.
Excellent.
I would like to rummage through the dragon's cloaca.
Oh my god, really?
No, not really. No.
Okay, good.
I was gonna say.
I'll let you know what you find. But
You're not gonna like it.
Wait. Oh, they would have cloacas because they wouldn't have dicks then.
What's a cloaca?
It's like an all-in-one hole. Like birds have them. Like
Birds and
egg
lizards.
laying. Yeah, egg laying things.
Have just a cloaca?
Yeah.
Just a
Nah, man,
single
dragons. They got dicks and cloaca.
They're magical.
I mean, so yeah.
They have multiple ways of reproducing.
Don't birds have just sex genitals too?
Why don't
Yeah, but it's a
birds
cloaca. They all have just a
play
cloaca.
with
It's just
their
that it produces
dicks?
different things.
So we're burying Delilah. You got your scales.
Can we please move on to a goblin town?
So
So you wouldn't find like an egg in there?
Not unless the dragon was,
Pregnant?
yeah,
And a girl.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we saw sticks. So,
All right, so
not much more to get into some dragon prostate play. I mean,
so Norwin gets these dragon scales. Morthos gets his tooth, and
No dragon egg. Darn.
after a little while, the burial of Delilah and her last rites having been given, all of that has been wrapped up, and I don't know why I used a perfect subjunctive there, but
is that a thing? Is that a real thing, or did you just make that up?
perfect passive.
Before we talk to Azu, I want to get some...
Subjunctive is a thing and perfect is a thing. I don't know if they go together.
No, it would have been perfect passive. I don't know.
So, Carilla,
Yes,
before
you
we...
do.
Carilla, do you
Yeah,
think there's wisdom in
Quite a
meeting
bit.
Azu?
Well,
And will we meet resistance with turned Myrmidons that have fallen under the thrall of the dragon?
hopefully not. Hopefully, if the dragon has been defeated, they'll be released from its influence.
Alright, let's hope.
Much like our kobold friend here.
Mm.
As far as meeting the chieftain of the tribe, is that what you call yourselves, tribes? Yeah, that works.
But, what? Don't. Thank you. but, where's its den?
The dragon?
The dragon's den.
That's where Azu is.
We should go there.
That's where I want to take you guys.
Like now.
Yeah.
I think the treasure probably mostly belongs to them now.
Hush your mouth. We killed it. We finders keepers.
Well,
They found it. They're sitting on it.
you all did help get rid of the dragon. We would be
Yeah,
remiss
that's
not
right.
to give you some of the treasure.
Right.
Goblin sounds like.
No, this is Carilla.
I will humbly accept it.
I like shiny things.
We should take something to
I will
prove
humbly demand it.
we did, so that folks will know.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
And the keepers of fate have done something hopefully positive here.
Well, I don't know others than us who knew the dragon was about, but I suppose just killing a dragon is a good thing.
Yeah, I guess your blue scales are gonna tell the story in one glance. That is really gross.
We did like killing the dragon was kind of fun.
They're gonna see a blue dragon scale and they're gonna give respect. They're gonna part the. They're either gonna move aside on the road,
Or crowd around.
or because that's really awesome, or really freaky.
Did you get some?
But as not yet.
So if Carilla is on board, then yeah, we should go see a zoo. I mean, we found a welcome, and I think it's the right thing to do.
And I think it would, well, it might bring us into contact with the other Myrmidons.
Are we gonna see the monkeys
What monkeys?
Come see the monkeys.
at the zoo?
Oh, like Azu, but I get it.
Do they have zoos here?
Yes.
Okay.
We're gonna see a zoo.
They might act a little differently there.
It's a
I really want to go to the
zoo.
zoo. Can we go to the zoo?
Anyway,
And it has treasure. There's treasure at the zoo.
We better, our battle might be noticed by a lot of people around us, so.
there aren't that many people around
There
here.
aren't any people here.
The word might spread though from those that have survived and can go out into the world. If we've taken the mystic, awesome weapon.
Yeah.
The Myrmidons are kind of released from their bond, maybe. And
But-
Carilla, is that accurate?
Yes, if a party worthy of wielding it takes the weapon,
It may
then
be good to spread word of
Is
our message out in the world.
so just do we know like is the obviously out of character do we have a sense that the den that we're talking about with the zoo is those caves that were underneath the castle?
yeah, that connection is maybe not like 100% overlapping, but it's pretty
Okay.
clearly they're connected.
Okay, all right.
Well, then lead on, Jark, and take us to Azu. We'd like to see the animals.
We're going to the zoo. We're going to the zoo.
It's
We're
Azu.
gonna see some.
We're going to a zoo.
Where were the animals the whole
Non-specific.
All right, so you are unassailed on your way. You're still a few miles out. I believe I said you were about 12 miles from the entrance to the dragon's lair. So you walk for a couple of hours before finally reaching.
So what's your favorite animal to zoo?
Which one are you asking? One of the Myrmidons or?
While we're walking.
Okay. I suppose I like jaguars.
Jaguar? What's a jaguar? I've never seen a jaguar. Tell me about it.
Oh,
So we don't have to actually go into
It's like-
detail, but
it's
this
like
is the
the-
interactions that
It's like that stone
Rashido.
thing.
You don't hear this, fucker.
Daniel, dude.
You fucker! Holy shit!
Just setting the scene. Trying to do some scene set. You were trying to steal the scene.
It's like a big cat, and they're usually black, and they live in like humid, foresty, kind of jungly areas.
Oh, that's it. You couldn't see it when it was dark out there.
No.
Wow. How do you see it in the dark?
You don't.
Oh, you can probably see its eyes.
Kinda. Only if they catch the moonlight, though.
But maybe it would probably be too close.
Yeah, by that time they're probably done for. Except that they don't really like hunting big things. They usually hunt prey smaller than them.
I'm small.
Watch out for the jaguars.
If I find any, I'll let you know, and you can go get to a safe distance.
Thank you very much.
Harkin, you okay over there?
I'm scared of jaguars now.
Oh,
I don't really know what they are. They're apparently a big black cat that's gonna eat me.
that sounds adorable.
Not as big as the dragon.
Yeah, but the dragon didn't try and eat me.
He ate somebody else though.
Ow, too soon.
One of the Myrmidons sheds a single tear.
It's not funny. Delilah's dead.
I'm not laughing in
You the
character.
cleric?
In character, I am not laughing. I'm deadly serious.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's.
These clerics have real dark senses of humor.
12 miles pass? Uneventfully?
Yes, 12 miles pass uneventfully. The entrance to this lair is massive. It is like a 60, maybe 70-foot wide hole, just dropping straight into the earth. You can kind of see elements of like exposed rock and what?
Like, you said straight into, so is it like
It's a downward pit.
I
Okay.
just toss a rock down into the and listen.
Okay.
Just casually. Out of curiosity.
That was the time.
Yep. From when you said it to then was the time.
What he was going to say.
Ah.
Well,
Keep it dark.
It's not super dark right now. You can see down pretty far, and there are several kind of landings and.
I touched the thing and used light. Touched the side of the thing.
Norwin, could you light me up, please?
I light him up too.
Thanks.
Wait, before you just jump straight down.
I'm not jumping down.
Okay, good. You're a monk.
I know, but I just.
do we have to?
I'm also not the kind of being that would be going subterranean.
Anybody want to
You've,
fly?
you've literally done this before.
I have.
Okay.
Anybody
That's
wanna
why
go
I
down?
said it.
Is that?
Do you want to go down?
I will descend in a normal.
Ooh, you can levitate. I jump off the edge.
What,
You
let me
jump off
finish
the edge?
describing the entrance to this lair. You cannot have all this information. It's not the whole 70 feet goes all the way down.
Oh.
There is
That's
a
why I
section of
asked.
it that is
Okay.
like 70 feet wide,
You were like, it goes down. I'm like, okay, fine.
and you can. It does. There is a large portion of it that goes straight down,
But there's a path along the
which
side.
is a mine shaft.
Yes.
You can actually see kind of maybe 10 or 15
It's like a
feet
Utah
below.
gold mine.
Yeah.
Or copper mine, I guess.
Does it like travel like spirally down or
Yes.
something like that?
Yeah.
There's a couple
Nice.
of the main shaft kind of goes, like I said, straight down, and you can see several floors kind of branching off
Now,
below it.
how girthy is that main shaft?
I'd say the main shaft is.
I was waiting for it.
That's the whole entrance. The shaft itself is maybe 20 feet wide.
How are we still?
So we're,
Oh wow, we'll definitely fit.
we're talking about like 25 feet of extra girth
Yep.
to go with the ramps.
Yep. On this
5
first
feet's
level,
not
How
too
far
much
can
to
I
walk
have
around.
jump?
like
If I
outward,
took a running jump
Like-
outward.
I
like a
believe
jump-
it's your
so it's-
strength score.
So it's a giant ring around this girthy shaft.
I will double check.
The path.
Yes, there's a large ring around the
Is it
shaft.
colored?
I just want to be lit up.
What
so
is
that
the
when I
ring
go
made
under
of?
the earth, I can see
Dirt
stuff that I can
and rock.
That's an
That's
odd
all.
cock.
This is old school.
We gotta be primitive.
I mean,
with
I
it.
assume there are origins down there. There might not be, but if you've got goblins and it's a den,
Yeah.
they don't have dark sight, so. I
Wait,
take a running giant.
I'm pretty sure I have dark vision.
There's no goblins.
Kobolds. So.
Oh.
Yeah, when you make a long jump, you cover a number of feet up to your strength score if you move at least 10 feet.
Okay.
Because this is jumping from a higher elevation to a lower, I'll say you can have again that distance.
Okay. Cool. As we see this giant hole that looks like it's going down, I smack Cranmor on the ass and go, "Now you can fly!" And I jump off the edge.
Okay. How far do
I
you
go
jump?
after him. Holy
Well,
crap!
As part of it, I'm casting levitate on. I'm twin casting levitate.
Yeah. Okay, on both of you? Yeah, gotcha.
I go after him, see him jump into a hole.
He levitates as he jumps.
Are you like lighting
Wait,
yourself up?
do I
too?
levitate?
Yep.
Oh, jeez!
Well, yeah.
I watch this and I'm like, huh.
I slowly shake my head as I start walking around the ring.
I also walk around. I also slowly do
So
this
there
around
is
the rim.
an initial drop before you get to the actual ramp.
Oh,
So it's about 15 feet. It's not huge.
jump down.
Right.
Roll
Make
up.
a dex save to see if you take any damage, but it's not much anyway. Yes,
No
please.
one.
Oh, we've already
Do
killed
I add my
this. We've
bonus
already almost killed this.
if it's a one?
It's so
Well-
special.
But that's why he brought it. He already. Dude, do you know how much he drank?
I do
No,
not.
I put
But I
it in.
assume it was a good bit because you had to take a leap.
Do I
I
add
put it
my
in some crystal.
Do I add my dex bonus if it's a saving throw and I got a one?
Did you tell him?
You
the,
would add
Johnny Walker. King
whatever
George?
your-
I got a one.
You need to tell
Yeah,
him
your
about
dex
that.
bonus, but not your
I told them
proficiency.
about it, but he
Okay.
wasn't here yet.
Ah.
So 2.
All right, you take some damage. You also have to make this jump, so roll
Oh,
a.
it wasn't me that you smacked my ass. I just walked around the edge.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
there
me
is
too.
about a
15-foot
15-foot drop before you get to the actual like ramp.
So I guess you could try
Oh,
scaling
thanks.
down. But
I missed that part.
Hey, anyone who may be failing, can I do like a dex save to try to catch him?
You've already jumped. So like
But
you're
I'm levitating.
yeah, but you're like out
So-
from the
so
ledge.
you could, I guess.
So I walked towards the
You
ram
could,
and
like,
it just
swim
fell
motion
over
back over to him or
into
something.
it.
Well, I mean, you'd probably like try and jump down or like hang down and
Actually,
drop.
you're pretty dexterous. You
Ah.
can probably move pretty good in the air.
Probably could have got some rope
Right.
out.
Oh well.
Oh, that smells so good.
No, it doesn't.
What
To
is,
make a
how
dex
much
save.
damage do I take?
2.
God, I'm
It's
rolling
really
terrible.
not much.
May I?
Smell?
Don't stick your nose in it.
Just
Yeah.
There's
give
It's
a
the
little
same
sip.
thing you've been
Just a
smelling.
little sip.
Wait, it's
Little
the
bit.
same thing you've
Yeah.
been smelling. Why?
I'm just trying to. Like, I'm trying
To
to
force
take
yourself?
steps.
the same way with peanut butter.
Fair,
I totally
fair.
appreciate it. It's,
Yeah.
I, get it.
I
It's
do the
advice.
same thing with vinegar.
I love
Yeah,
vinegar.
we all have
Vinegar's
something.
fucking nasty.
5.
5?
Yeah.
Alright, you take 1 point of damage.
The best.
Okay. So
I thought
we've
maybe
had
syrup
a
was
long
the
rest, haven't we? Since things happened.
Actually, not since
You
the
can't
dragon
have
fight.
waffle fries without vinegar.
Did I take? Did you already apply my damage?
So good.
On D&D Beyond?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Vinegar
so
and
my
cheese or
damage is
something.
accurate right now.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Vinegar's so much better. It's like the-
Alright,
Take-
Jasna pops her wings out and flies down the couple of feet.
Along with your
I
donkey.
turn around and I wave back. Oh, yeah, no!
Put your donkey on a tether, eh?
I can't believe we didn't take. a
How
long
is that
rest.
thing still
I mean,
alive?
the donkey kind of
She
like
rides-
stumbles
She
out.
rides her donkey down?
No, she
No,
flies.
she flies.
She puts her wings out
How
and
the
just
hell
kind
is
of flies.
that donkey still alive?
The donkey kind of like
Because you guys
like,
wouldn't let us kill it.
That is one elusive donkey, all right?
yeah. The donkey like stumbles off of the cliff but finds itself somehow levitating and sort of clumsily makes its way down.
You
the
guys
platform.
wouldn't let us inject it with a bunch of drugs.
It's a lucky donkey, okay?
Do I see anything to make a torch with at all, or like any
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
sticks or-
There's unlit torches actually lining the place.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead. Thaumaturgy you can't do a flame,
Am I
right?
lit up or
Pretty
not?
sure.
Yeah, so I'll do thaumaturgy on one of the torches and carry it. Okay.
Seriously though, am I actually lit up because I did ask for that?
Are you
Yes,
what?
you are. I lit
Good.
you up.
I mean, I have I'm gonna have like flint and steel. I can go around lighting torches, but this is faster.
If you want to grab one and do that yourself, like you can definitely do so. However many torches y'all want.
But
like,
it's
there's
not
like
gonna
lots.
gain you any extra light
Yeah.
because you're already lit up.
Well, I want it for the good of the group. Seeing around. Hey,
Remember to hold it
no, I mean-
back and away from your head, not in front of you like this.
I was gonna say, I mean, because like
You're in
the
dust kind of
torch
cocaine.
isn't gonna go any further than my spell.
He said he tastes like a little
Yeah,
coconut.
I get that. But
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get what
if I go around lighting the torches along the way.
Oh, lighting all the torches. I see. I thought you were carrying one.
Hey, Jark, can we like light the torches or something? Because we're not used to the subterranean
Oh,
circumstance.
Can you breathe fire on them, maybe?
I don't have a breath
He
weapon.
doesn't do that, you racist.
I
I'll light-
don't
I
know
will-
what powers he
I
got.
will light the torches as I walk by.
Okay, cool. Morthos using the torch he lit lights the other torches in the ring. You now have a 70-foot radius or 70-foot diameter circle with torches lit maybe every 8 feet along the circumference.
Does the path continually go down in a spiral, or
Yeah, it does.
is it like a straight up and down,
Let me actually
like,
draw out
not all
the-
kobolds.
or like how is this path working? Is it
Yeah.
curving through it, or is it? So I'm trying to visualize.
This is amazing. We're going down a spiral like shaft, and it's turning into this huge to-do.
Yep.
It's great. We're never gonna get to where.
We're
No.
never getting anywhere.
I'm trying to move it.
Grab that. Let's move these things off of here.
Move right over.
We're gonna spend 2 hours talking about walking.
I'm talking about the shaft. And
We've
it's
already
girth.
spent plenty of time talking about the shaft.
What's the girth and length of this shaft? How deep can it go?
These are important things to know.
It's very girthy and it was about 8 seconds deep.
There's nothing wrong with trying to figure out what you want to know in a clever and colorful way.
Yes, good storytelling. That's important.
Yes.
Alright, so effectively this is your full diameter of the hole. And what you have
Kate
is
says glowing flying
kind of
store.
a lip here with like rocks
Yeah, it
along it. So like you get like kind of rock formations that overhang here.
Okay.
And there's torches every few feet.
And the shaft goes straight down.
There's about a 20-foot shaft in the center, which has a big old mine cart in it, or mine elevator in it, hooked up in a rigging system. And then outside of that, what you get is largely like one single ring, and then so like here it kind of divides and goes downward. So like this is going down. And we'll get like that, or something. So you can kind of see the edge of it here.
Okay.
So it kind of goes down in the middle of the path. Otherwise, it's all like flat, and then this descends onto the second floor. Does that make sense?
That's level with the shaft going down. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. So like the center of this is solid. Like if
That's
you
the
were to-
bottom of the fall, right?
This is the top. Like what
This
we've
is the
drawn here is
entrance.
the very top.
This is the shaft that they jumped down.
This goes down many feet. This is all flat,
Yeah,
and
this
then
is
you
the
have a
8-second
ramp
drop.
that goes from like the side. I really should have drawn it on the outside.
Some folks work really hard.
There's a
to-
ramp to
you know,
Yeah,
go
I
to
know
this.
that.
I'm sorry, I'm confused.
There's actually like it's not up, but there's a mine shaft here with a mechanism for pulling up the cart.
Up and down the cart.
Yeah.
Into the shaft.
Yep. And then there's also a way to walk down with a ramp here.
Oh, okay.
Where to now, Jark?
So, can I see how the mechanism? Am I able to walk and see how the mechanism works?
It's a lever. It's very simple.
And there's a thing to carry us down.
Yep. There's not yet. You have to raise the counterweight.
Okay, I'll go ahead and try to raise the counterweight.
Alright. Pushing the lever forward, you hear a kind of mechanical chunk, and the whirring of gears kind of interlocking and spinning, and you can hear the rushing sound of the rope whirring and the counterweight dropping as the elevator rises. A few seconds later, boom, elevator reaches your floor, and there's an elevator in front of you.
And how many people can fit on the elevator?
If you squeeze, 4 or 5, and if you squeeze with a moose tar, 2.
Who wants to be in the first
maybe
place down
use
there?
this
The
thing
moose
to
tar
go
is
down?
Where are we going now,
This is the
Jar?
only entrance into the cave, right?
Well, I'm gonna just keep kind of coasting down, eh?
Azu
And
is-
you use the elevator shaft, I guess, the cart.
Who's willing to go with me?
Well, Azu's just a couple of floors down. It won't take too much longer for half of us to take the elevator and the other half to take the ramp.
Oh, the ramp and the elevator go down.
Yeah, I'll meet you there, eh?
Okay, so anybody want to go down the elevator?
Sure.
Who said sure?
Jark. The kobold.
The kobold. Anybody else?
Smart one in the group right now. We got some Myrmidons.
Jazz is like, yeah, why do more work?
Remember, we've got Myrmidons.
Exactly.
So they've got to.
You're gonna walk down,
I'll just follow.
and you're
Giant.
flying down.
We're
You
flying
two are
back.
flying down.
Then you, Jark, and the 3 Myrmidons will squeeze onto the elevator.
Okay, let's go.
All right. So the elevator is faster. Gets there a little bit before you guys. So you all feel, you pull the lever, and you feel the mine shaft starts to move, and the elevator begins to descend as the counterweight pulls you downward. A couple seconds later, you arrive at the 2nd floor. Pull the lever again. Same thing. Arrive at the 3rd. The rest of you descend slowly on a circular path that kind of winds downward until you get out onto a landing that is quite dissimilar from the upper. There's basically a...
The two of us and Jasna are descending in style.
Oh yeah, it's roll for swagger.
Wait, Jasna. Jasna took the thing.
Do we know? Do we know?
Oh no, Jasna.
3 of
This
you.
is after that.
It's the 3 of you.
10. I only get 10.
What are we
It's your
rolling?
charisma bonus is what you add
Oh,
to it.
charisma bonus?
Oh
so
shit.
I got a 27.
Nice.
No, I got a
27?
I
9.
got a 19.
Alright. Cranmor doesn't really know how to swagger, so he kind of like...
This is my first time floating. I'm used to jumping and landing, not descending carefully like a fish.
Yeah, he's like a little unused to the movement, so his swagger is kind of
I
mediocre.
look better than that donkey though, eh?
Y'all, though,
Stupid donkey.
y'all's swagger is on point. You walk down in, like, it's
On fleek.
runway, catwalk, beautiful.
If only there were some sexy maidens.
Really
to see.
Gucci. You guys are looking so Gucci.
Gucci.
Oh god, no.
Alright, you get down to the 3rd floor.
He's been Nolans now.
So you get down to the 3rd floor, and unlike the top floor, it actually has just a very small ring around the around the elevator shaft.
Ring around the Rosie.
Yeah, it's nice.
I like it.
And other than that, there's just 2 paths that kind of jut out to the left and right. And Jark says, "It'll be this way," and he starts to lead you down to the path to the left.
I roll an insight check.
Do we know who made this mine shaft? Sorry to interject. Do we know who made this mine shaft?
You have knowledge that it was made before the scouring, so some people that was around before.
Oh, we
don't
all know
like,
that?
we don't know like what
The
skill,
Myrmidons mentioned it, that it's been around for a long, long time.
Oh.
and we don't know
But
what
we already asked them who made it and they didn't know.
They didn't know specifics.
Okay.
like dwarves or they don't even know race style that would be
You could
constructed
make
in.
make a history check.
I got a 16 on my insight.
Oh my god, my rolls are so bad.
16.
Welcome back to
for
D&D.
I know. 4.
Oh man. Looking at the stonework, all that jumps out at you is that it's, while skillful, it is a bit rough. So like everything is clearly like done in such a way that is sturdy and stable.
Any ruins or like any wording?
This is at least 5 months old and it's probably deliberate.
It's very modern. Modern rustic.
You start projecting your own values onto it instead of studying it.
Okay, cool. So there's 2. So follow.
No
Jark.
writings you can find, and yeah, not too much you can divine about its origins. All right, so after a little ways, you get to a point where there are torches lit along the walls, and they're lit, so you assume that people have been here relatively recently. And Jark kind of begins looking to the sides of the cavern, seeming to be kind of keeping an eye out for something. You're not entirely sure what, but he keeps just peering left and right until about like 50 or so feet after you see the first couple of torches, he says, "Oh, there you are. I got a couple of friends." And you hear a voice come back, "Password." And Jark says, "Oh, Scorpion." And you see a small, like, draconic hand hold a scorpion on a stick out from a hole in the wall. And Jark kind of very trepidatiously leans forward and, like, plants a small little kiss on the scorpion's head. And draws back quickly, and the scorpion does not try to sting him. But he says, "Okay, we're good? You're good." And he says, "Okay, guys, come on. We're going to meet Azu now."
I'm sorry. Jark kissed the head of a scorpion.
Yes.
An actual scorpion.
Yep.
And
On
that
a
was the
stick.
and that was the password.
Yep.
Oi, Steve.
That is freaking brilliant.
Agashukadra.
Was that?
Agashukadra.
Agashukadra. I don't know what that means.
Chin chin.
Chin chin.
Chin chin.
I know that one.
It's a Hungarian,
Salut.
to which I am not any of.
I'm Hungarian.
Nice.
Sorry. I did meet somebody that was Hungarian
Oh,
a couple days
no.
ago,
Yeah.
and we
Yeah.
were chatting. I said Agashukadra, and
Herman
he
is
says,
there.
"Yes, Agashukadra." Like,
Oh, nice.
score.
Very good. Very good. All right. So Jark leads you a little ways forward, and he leads you into what looks to be kind of an opened up chamber where you can kind of see even now the marks of mining having been done within this room. There are clearly like carved out ore veins and sections of rock that have been gouged away from the walls. Otherwise, the chamber is maybe 40 or 50 feet, generally roundish shape. And there is a kobold in like a little bit more fancy dress, which here means like he's got some scraps of leather on him instead of just being naked. And he has what looks to be a very fine dagger strapped to a very shitty belt around his waist. And there's a couple of kobolds also in the room. One of them is holding a torch up and kind of trying to light something on fire that you can't quite make out because the torch is sort of blinding your view of it. And he kind of stands to attention and drops the torches as you enter. "Oh, we have visitors."
And visitees.
"I think we are the visitees."
Exactly. So you have visitees.
Yes. Indeed.
Congratulations.
Jark is
Thank
the
you.
kobold, right?
We took care of your dragon problem.
What?
Wait,
Weird.
out of character. Kobolds don't like it because they're enslaved.
That's
By
not
the
how that
dragon,
works,
right?
really.
Not quite.
That's-
Oh, okay.
They are enslaved, but it's sort of mutually beneficial.
Imagine
You can think of it
we
as
took care of
like
your
a
sugar daddy problem.
Stockholm
Yeah.
syndrome.
Oh!
I didn't love him, but he was paying the bills.
Okay, never mind. I don't say that.
You
Okay.
did say it. You can't. Nope.
Out of character, I didn't know
Too
that.
bad. Now
No,
you do.
in character, you didn't know that was a terrible thing to say.
No, is that true?
Because of your interactions with the kobolds around Maliraxys,
That's
Norman
what I was
would know
wondering.
that.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
So he wasn't just being a drunk ass.
Go on, step in it. I
I'm
should.
just saying, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that.
I didn't
I
know
should.
that.
We come with abject humility to visit with you, and I don't know. I'm sorry, my words are not grand
You,
here.
you see his eyes kind of like squint a little bit when you say abject, and he's very visibly trying to think of what
Yeah.
the word means.
I'm also visibly
then-
trying to. I'm sorry. Common is not my first language. I apologize.
It's not mine either. Speak however you will.
Okay.
Speak
however
you will.
So we have trod upon this place, came upon a dragon and slew him, but we've met some of your. We met Jacques, who's a stand-up fellow who has brought us in here, and I want to say we come here in peace, and we hope that we are welcomed into your hospitality of this place, and seek to parlay. So we wanted to speak with you.
Done. Jark. It is good of you to bring us visitors.
Don't we know this guy?
Not
Or
Azu.
you guys. Oh, I thought that Azu was the guy that you guys had befriended before.
No, Azu is blue.
No.
Daryl is a red kobold.
Yeah, Daryl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Daryl. Yeah.
However, he says, now, normally I would hold a feast in honor of guests, and especially since you slew our overlord, who was an iron-fisted ruler.
Sorry about that also. That just,
No.
just the course of things, it was inevitable, I think, that either we were gone or he
We
I tried
kobolds
to
are
befriend
used to
him.
being... He kind of gives you a look like, I am talking.
Sorry.
We kobolds are used to being trod upon and adrift. As such, the death of our dragon lord is no great tragedy. We shall carry on. But
Also, you're next in line, right?
yes, I am.
Congratulations!
And you got some sweet digs here. We've been paying attention along the way.
Okay.
Nice.
King Azu.
This is a fine hole.
Thank you.
I like your hole very much.
We've been talking about the girth of it the whole way down.
Normally, I would hold
Beautiful
a feast
enormity.
in your honor
Is that the right
immediately.
word?
However, we have a diplomatic visitor at the time, and I should very much like to finish the conversation that we were having. You all are welcome to join us, and there will be feasting afterwards.
Be an honor.
I would be
Absolutely.
very interested in that.
Thank you very much for your graciousness and invitation.
For your
I appreciate
hospitality.
it.
Where does the dragon sleep?
We'll
Down.
get there later.
We'll get there, man. Cool your jets.
In
I don't know what a
fact,
jet is, but cool it.
that is where the meeting is to be held. His chambers were by far the grandest within the mine.
And they're now your chambers, right?
Indeed.
So would there be
And I choose to make them into a great hall.
would there be any chance to roll any kind of check to see if a dragon's den or treasure is tainted in any way, just by being around it kind of curses you or gives you an unsettling feeling? Is that part of your universe?
Are you asking, like,
So sorry, out of
Are
character.
you
Roll a
asking-
check to feel a little weird?
There has been things that people in this party have picked up that have cursed them.
Yeah,
Wait,
so you
So
still
it's
have
not
a reason to
unheard
check.
of.
So this is an out of character thing. I want to know if there's a mechanism where just being in this around the dragon's horde.
in
It's
general,
gonna be
treasure
tainting
can
your-
be cursed. What I'm wondering is, are you asking if you can tell now, or when you get to the horde?
When we get to the horde.
Okay. Yeah, you could certainly check for it.
Like seriously, like out of character. It sounds like you're asking. So you're not like doing the checking for traps thing. It sounds like you're saying, "Hey, is there a roll that I can? Is there a check that I can do to see if I get the heebie-jeebies?"
The way I see
more
it,
than
it's
that,
basically an
it's-
insight check, or maybe Arcana. If
Yeah,
you're looking
Arcana.
for-
It's
if
one
you're
of
looking
those
for
two,
curses.
because
Yeah.
there's just because there's some folklore or stories or universes where being in the presence of the dragon's horde can have a curse effect.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, then, like you could probably
Causing greed or
Yeah.
worse.
Would you feel that like from the dragon itself, or from like a thing in the horde? And then would you?
From the dragon's presence upon the horde.
Okay. Would you feel that like from other? Does it like? Would you feel it from Azu, for instance? If Azu's obviously been.
Would there be
down
any like clerics or
quite long.
academics a part of this
Like,
I don't know the
Is that
mechanism.
something that
Yeah,
has
no,
come
I-
up?
I-
What
like,
group
I've
clerics
heard
or
from stories I've
academics
read.
part of like
I'm
the
genuinely
group?
curious.
Yeah.
Like, this sounds like
Kobold
a really
group?
cool thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is that something that's not typical for that race?
You recall Dayald, a magic researcher
Oh, yeah, that's
from
right.
the other group,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it was rare. He was the only one among that group.
So can I tell if there's like any sort of like member among this group that's
Not that you've encountered so far.
Oh, this kobold is like
Kingly.
Oh, he's pretending to be kingly.
a little full of himself, but
He's definitely
Oh, yeah.
full of himself.
Yeah.
the best way to get with those is just compliment them.
Yeah, just buy into it.
You know, I mean,
Oh,
confidence
yes,
gets you
you
very
see.
far. If he acts the king, he's the king.
Yeah.
Especially
So-
with.
Right on, man.
I mean, just look at Donald Trump.
Oh God.
All right.
No.
So
Why'd you have to bring him up?
moving along from that topic.
Yes.
Pass over that jug of Glenlivet.
Yeah.
You're gonna need a lot.
Anyway.
At least we have a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Azu
Speaking about
steps
Trump,
down from his
everybody
throne.
drink so you
He's got a
forget
throne.
that he's our president.
Fantastic.
It's a stone chair.
Okay, well.
It's actually like it looks, other than like everything else in the room, that looks like it was freshly hewn.
That's a beautiful throne.
Well, thank you. I very much appreciate it.
Is it just stone?
I did.
Is it just stone?
You see one of the other kobolds kind of like give a shifty eye when he says that.
You know, a king
It's
would have
just
done
stone.
himself.
Okay. I say, hey, want to see a cool trick?
Sure.
Is it okay if I sit in it for just a second?
Make a persuasion check.
What do we gotta, we've talked about this.
Are you gonna shit in his chair?
No.
You sitting in stone chairs, though. We've got a history here.
9 plus 3 is 12.
Not a diplomat.
For a moment.
Okay,
That is.
I go up and I sit in it like very quickly, and then I do mold into stone.
Not into stone.
Yeah, and then
You disappear.
I disappear, and then I come out the other
My
side.
God, my throne was too powerful for you.
After he says that, I come out the other side.
Oh,
This proves that Norin could never rule the blue kobolds.
It's
yes.
Alas, it was too powerful for me. I'm
You're
sorry.
able to sit on that throne.
I can't sit on that throne.
That was so generous of you.
I am a benevolent king. Now, if you would, and he points to the passageway from whence you came,
Yeah, we're keeping a diplomat waiting here.
and he goes first, bringing his little entourage along with him, and gestures for you to, or the entourage gestures for you to follow as he proceeds. He very regally kind of steps onto the.
hand job later. I don't know.
Right? He steps onto
Why
the
more
platform,
Nothing happening.
and he says,
Tail job?
Would you skill job?
I was like,
Tail job?
I was going through my head like, what would be funny to say with my tail?
Sorry.
It's okay. He steps very regally onto the platform of the elevator shaft, and his couple of kobold bodyguards go with him. And he kind of looks over the group of you and says, since you have been so humble, you may come with me on the royal shaft.
Oh, thank you very much. It's such a glorious shaft.
It is.
So well oiled.
Very much so.
Interesting bolt.
Wait, you oil it?
Of course. How else would you keep the gears moving smoothly?
Oh, not the shaft itself. Oh, I see.
You don't want a rough penetration.
Penetration?
Yes.
So is it just can we call you Farkin
He
yet?
has no
Is that
idea what the
happening
word
yet?
Rashido. Still Rashido.
Okay.
Yep.
I gotta fix that. Because I have heard and I think passed an inside check and I'm still playing along.
Yeah.
That there's something, but we're
Yeah, you.
The
I think
rest of you.
two know that something's up.
it's something,
Yeah.
but still Rashido. Okay.
Yep.
So Rashido is the only one invited?
Yes.
Okay.
The rest of you may either wait and the shaft will, or the elevator will come back up, or you can take the ramp. Either way, take it as far down as it goes.
I started
and I'll
hoofing
see
it.
you there.
Do I still have levitation on?
No.
How long does it last?
10 minutes.
It's been more than 10 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah.
But you do gently float.
I'm
You
gonna
don't fall forward.
go down the ramp at the same speed as the shaft goes.
Okay.
So that you can eye them the whole way down?
Just to stay with them.
Okay, just like
Okay.
staring at them the whole time.
Doubt the elevator goes very quickly.
It's nothing
Those
weird.
mine elevators don't
Yeah.
go fast.
Now, So it goes down.
You'd probably make it there quicker if you went down the ramp.
Especially if you like ran.
Yeah.
Yeah, the purpose of the shaft is usually just you put a big fucking thing of ore on
Exactly,
there.
right,
And that
yeah.
goes
So
up.
you don't have to carry it all the way up.
Right, and the miners would take the ramp, at least in this
Yeah,
particular
yeah.
mine shaft.
It's
Well, I mean, that's
value and
kind of-
effort
Yeah.
rather than speed.
Right.
So as you descend, you go about 3 more floors down where you see a similar setup. You see a couple, maybe 2 or 3 different outward paths that would lead deeper into the mines for more ore to be collected. And then as you pass below that 3rd floor, you open up into this huge cavernous space where like the shaft kind of, there's a direct ceiling that kind of breaks out and opens up. So even if you're going along the ramp, like suddenly you're on this column of stone, and outside where once there were walls has now opened up into this immense cavern. But what's most notable about it is that it's not dirt and rock that make up the walls and ceiling. You can see a hint of sand where the walls are thinner, but for the most part it is blasted glass. Like the sand has been superheated so quickly that it has just formed this immense glass cave. It is
That's cool.
incredible.
Beautiful.
Yes, isn't it?
It's like black or
Is it obsidian?
It's dark because the cave is dark. But
but it's like
glass is
does it reflect all the like the little lights that are happening?
so like
like
there's
maybe like a midnight blue like
yep. And there's
glimmering lights
hints
on it.
of red reflected too, as there are torches kind of spread around.
I use my racial trait to cast daylight.
Oh, it is glorious.
Probably blinding.
Daylight kind of like it flashes in. It's all the colors of the spectrum. So
Very
as you
cool.
do, like it bounces off of the various parts of the cavern walls, and you see these just the rainbow of colors just burst forward from various sections, like that are kind of close.
It's like
Oh,
It's
it
a-
diffracts all the light and creates lots of rainbows.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. It's a big enough cavern that it's not blinding. It's so wide that like the light has dissipated enough that it refracts and
This
it
is
changes
a
color.
Have they ever seen it like that?
Shaft.
How does Azu
This is
begin?
amazing.
Yeah.
He just like he kind of looks over it, and as he sees you're asking about daylight specifically,
Yeah.
his eyes go like wide.
I bet you could do better.
Not yet, but I'm sure I have the I'm sure I have the capacity for it.
Oh, of course.
At present, though, my court wizard is, well, indisposed.
Well, you have to keep wizards in mind.
Oh,
He's ill. He will take.
I could show him.
That would be most pleasant. He says as you're walking down the would be most pleasant.
Remember
So-
the thing from before?
What's that?
All right, Joel, come on. You're not involved in this conversation.
So-
But he's like, it's like
I mean,
15. It's like 5 feet.
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'm fucking with you.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, I can totally hear him. It's 5 feet.
yeah, assuming that like you're keeping pace like Cranmor is.
Yeah,
it
I'm
would be
following
close enough.
Cranmor. Always.
So you reach the bottom, and there's kind of an opening for the mine shaft or the mine elevators. Excuse me, one more. Excuse me. So there's kind of an
You
opening
have
for the
freedom,
elevator.
Yaha.
Is it the corona?
No, that's up there.
No, it's on your hand. You have coronavirus on your hand.
Yeah, I do. Oh well. Guess we're all gonna die, or 2% of us.
None of us are older children, so I think we're okay.
That's fair, yeah. Yeah. So you reach the bottom.
On that note,
The bottom is similarly like it's walking on glass. You can kind of, it's relatively thin on the floor, so you can kind of see the stone and dirt
This
underneath,
is fucked up.
like hitting the bedrock. But there's like 4 or 5 inches of just solid glass.
Guys, that's not okay. I mean, think about the energy required to generate to do this.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
a dragon.
The dragon took several weeks or days to
I mean,
hollow this out and create this
So
immense.
Yeah.
this was created by the dragon.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is a bit uncomfortable, honestly. This is, and it's beautiful and scary at the same time.
So, do we know that the dragon we killed did this?
He's telling you right now.
Okay.
It is a beautiful reminder of a terrifying power.
Yeah.
It tells a story.
I'm glad it's
All right, less than 30 seconds or we might get copyrighted.
I'm glad it's what's in your head. In my mind, it's something else. Yeah.
But I'm sure the dragon could only do it because you took care of everything to allow him the time to do it.
He is a dragon, but I'm sure our help did not go unnoticed.
I found a song called "I Killed a Dragon."
So, pray, who's the diplomat with whom you're meeting?
Well, you'll see in just a moment. And he kind of, he walks forward and he says, Daryl. It is.
Yes!
He walks forward and he holds his arms out and he says, our visitors are here. You may come out. We may begin the summit. And you see a familiar face stepping out from what looks like kind of a chamber that's been hollowed out on the right side of one of these walls. And he is flanked by a couple of other red kobolds. The leader you recognize as Daryl.
I charge.
Daryl!
I'm going for the Daryl, and I have the biggest grin and arms wide open. I'm going for like a charge hug.
He looks shocked just like to see you guys. He's like, oh, wow! He gets like hit with Cranmor as he says so.
He's getting a full force hand field in response.
Jazz is like, Daryl! And hi, Daryl!
Yeah,
You can say, I'm excited to know how it goes at your city of home.
He's like wrapped up in
sorry, he's
in
gotta be second to
Cranmor.
this.
Fucking the table.
buddy! Oh my gosh, how have you been? I haven't seen you forever. So much has happened. We gotta catch up. Oh my gosh, you look so good. You've got. Oh man.
Azu was like,
You know them?
you know each other.
I don't.
Oh yeah, he doesn't, but we all do.
This is a
Daryl could tell you
right here.
how we met and how we our adventures.
We
in
killed
the
Maliraxys.
I'm gonna use
So this
my.
is not the first dragon you've defeated.
It's not, but the
Well,
important point is
sort of.
this diplomat that's visiting you. He's a very important dignitary and a stand-up guy.
Very important.
That
I'm
is
gonna-
why we accepted his visit.
I'm going to use my
You've
ability
got
to
very
move
good judgment,
through.
Azu.
I'm going to use my ability to move through things that are at least one size larger than I am to completely move by you, grasp his hand, and start shaking it with both hands.
He's like in a chokehold.
How are you?
Hi.
Everybody knows you, but I don't.
I'm Daryl.
Hi, Daryl. How are you? You're red.
I am.
How'd you get red?
I was born this way.
I say, okay, come on,
I
Rashido.
put him down. I am sorry if I brought you some dignity here.
No.
But I'm just so excited to see you after all this time.
I missed you too. One of his retainers is Daryl.
Damn!
The,
Hold on, my
the
God!
sorcerer kobold who started the work on the resilient sphere that you finished.
Yeah.
Wait.
We see him and notice him?
Yeah, he's there too.
Oh, then I say, we finished your spell.
I know.
How do you know?
There was
He got a Google alert.
there were some folks who came
Notification.
who came around telling of a cleric who was able to cast the spell that I had been working on, and I recognized it, and I recognized the description as being you.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy that you were able to finish it. I have another spell I've been working on too.
Oh, we'd love to see it. We can help you with finishing that one as well.
Yeah, later on when we have a bit more time, we should
Yes.
definitely catch up on it.
But we don't want to. So we have some gracious hosts here. I'm sorry. I'm getting a little self-conscious that we're seeing some old friends, but we don't want to.
No, reunions are heartfelt and
Yeah.
touching.
This is just It's really fantastic to see
Very
everyone here.
glorious of you. Thank you so much for allowing our friends the time to talk again.
Of course, of course. And there will be more time later for such familiarities,
Ah,
Dancing?
if you'd like.
have you ever seen a moose tour dance?
I have not.
It's glorious. You will enjoy it.
I believe it.
You sound
Then you
like,
got moves you
you
couldn't
sound like you're selling him on like a prostitute. Right? It's glorious.
He's eating it up though. Like Azu is just all about it. He's like, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Shall we,
This
shall we?
one knows.
Being a charlatan halfling,
Yep.
I've buttered a few biscuits.
Oh yes.
By which you mean you've given many tail jobs.
I had a tail, yeah.
Well, shall we begin the song?
I love. Oh, yeah.
We should
that's what I
hang
was
back
about
and
to
just
say.
let them. We should let them talk and hang back a bit.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Apologies for interrupting.
we've interrupted and intruded a bit, so we'll.
No,
We
you
need to
are,
do- we
you
need
are
to discuss,
invited to the summit. Especially since you know Daryl and
Now,
his
our
friends.
Myrmidon companions have really been largely responsible for bringing us here, and we would like Carilla to help represent us on this summit, as I think she understands the land well and can take some responsibility for us even being here.
The Myrmidons
kind of-
are with us, right? That's
Yes.
one of the Myrmidons. Okay.
He kind of looks Carilla up and down and says, "You were one of the unfortunate ones in the city that the dragon overthrew, correct?" "Yes, that's right."
You're so smart, too.
Yeah, he's like already nodding a little bit, like he's processing, and then you said that, and he's like, "Yes." Well, in that case, then I think it's proper that you sit the council as well.
This guy's gonna give me
I kind of
one from that dragon's sword.
How far away from Azu am I?
What do you-
Not far, 15, 20 feet.
Okay, then he does not hear my chuckle.
What did you roll on stealth?
I rolled 8.
Okay, yeah. Passive perception plus distance, yeah, it's
Yeah.
I'm gonna go downstairs. Does anybody want anything real quick?
I'm
Okay,
refilling
thank
my
you.
Grab me
water
another one
bottle.
of
I'm
those guys?
good.
Yeah, totally.
I'm gonna refill the water bottle if that's okay,
Yeah.
because I don't know that a lot of. Cranmor's not diplomatic.
Oh, you are like the definition of it.
But you'll want to
Really
write all
is.
of it down.
The
Well, Cranmor will want to write all of it down, but we can get to that later.
Cranmor is like the person that should always be a diplomat, but will never be one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Like in an official
Yeah.
status.
Yep.
Yeah.
Somehow is a part of those conversations constantly.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. Not unlike Dennis. Well,
Sweet. So
No,
we're gonna
no.
have like a nations summit among these
yeah, these two
Privileged
kobold
people.
tribes.
The UNK, the United Nations
two
of
kobold
Kobolds.
tribes, one of which has huge connections with part of the countryside because of us.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's a lot at stake in this conversation.
Yeah, it actually
Yeah.
it will also very possibly affect Aliton and by extension a lot of Dane.
Yeah.
Yes. So right now we're building the coalition
Of
against,
kobolds.
of races not typically respected.
Yeah.
Ooh,
to
our followers.
yeah, to rise up and fight the
Shadow race.
the shadow race.
I'm trying to come up with I'm trying to come up with a backronym for races not typically accepted.
Oh.
Smells like Jesse.
Oh.
So pleasant, or
You can call yourselves Tours, typically outcast races. That could work.
typically outcast races.
Wraithhearts is the term for them, yes. We'll wait for Dennis to get back then.
Yeah. Is this a peace summit or what kind of summit is this?
You're not sure yet.
Oh, okay. But when I am sure, so that I can write it down now instead of later.
It'll be a
it's-
summit for me, motherfuckers.
It's actually effectively Daryl trying to convince Azu and his tribe to join their cause. Their cause is taking down
But you're gonna
the
sit
Church of
at
the Gathering
a
Storm,
Multinational.
which is
conversation
Vrontulk's
as a
church.
charlatan.
Yeah, I'm good at that.
Yeah,
Not the first time.
I know. Butter a few biscuits.
People in power love hearing how powerful they are.
Quite a few of them.
Basically, I'm treating him the same way that I would Donald Trump.
I would not
The way
treat.
you would treat him?
I would not
In real
treat
life?
Donald Trump with that much respect. Even though
no,
it's
well,
secretly
if you-
disrespect.
All right, wait,
I would not-
Wait. Before we continue this, do I need to mute us?
Well, no, I mean that's just a spectrum of position. You wouldn't go down that route, but he says I'm going to achieve things on my own, and I'm going to treat somebody in the way that they want to be treated. Therefore, I can get the things that I
Right.
want and need.
Yeah.
He has a goal.
And that's
He's trying to get something out of him. So if you really
That's
wanted
true.
Donald Trump to give you something, you
And-
butter him out.
But there's
Yeah,
also
that's
other
true.
people that wouldn't want to do that out of sheer
Principle.
But it's
Of
the
their own
idea
philosophy.
that those kind of people are hyper vainglorious. So
Hyper vainglorious and
Authoritarian.
What did you just say?
What is
And
hyper
authoritarian.
vainglorious?
And authoritative.
And
authoritarian.
authoritarian.
I don't think
And
it's authoritarian.
authoritarian.
That's the thing. I don't
And
think it's
authoritarian, or you
All right,
say
wait. This is not politics and Dragons. This is Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, this is a drinking club.
Not a politics
Wait,
club.
it's
So
a-
it's D&D&D, not D&D&P.
But it's a fair discussion to have
D&D
before we
and
have
A.
a
I
political
did just
discussion in the
pee,
game.
and then when I came back, we were talking
Okay.
about other pee.
So D&D&D is Dungeons and Dragons and drinking.
Oh,
Alcohol
yeah,
also
there you go.
works.
That works.
How many of you had?
AD&D?
I didn't hear the third
Is
D.
this
I only
AD&D?
heard two Ds.
Yeah.
He's
So.
actually
Oh.
not too bad tonight. He drank
No,
like
I know. I'm
probably
just
half
messing
of
with
this
him.
fucking bottle a couple of weeks ago.
I drank a lot last time.
This little thing.
That's why I had this thing this week.
Lit
Right.
a couple of
I brought
It was good. It was fun.
And then Matt had to like pull you aside afterwards. Was like,
I know.
So that wasn't why.
no, it wasn't
But-
drinking. It was yeah.
Yeah, but we don't need to discuss that on
Yeah,
screen.
No, it was.
Ryan's fine. We're all fine.
Brian's
No,
awesome.
we're all the problem.
We're all the problem, so none of us are the problem.
Exactly.
I like it.
There we
Yes. Except for the Canadian.
Now the Canadian can't possibly be a problem.
I know that's that's
that's
the
the
point
point.
thing. Yeah, it's like. But he fits in. He's so polite that he tries to position himself as a problem to fit in.
So Azu brings you all over. He kind of walks actually further back into to the point that you're almost at the edge of the room, and you see a great table made of shimmering glass.
That's great. Is that your table?
Yes, it is. This is where we will hold the summit. Please, take your seats. And he goes to the head of the table and kind of pulls out this enormous glass chair and...
I sit like diagonally, like not entirely opposite of him, but diagonal to that.
The table is long enough that you shouldn't sit all the way at the other end, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Oh, it's a long, skinny table. Not
Yeah.
Thank you so much for letting us come to your table.
Of course. So...
And Cranmor
Daryl.
just stands.
Daryl, you have a...
How does a moose tor sit?
I can sit at the table and
Like
still
the
be
same way a dog
head to head
does.
with everybody else, so it's fine. I'm used to this. It's
Just
fine.
without a chair, right?
Yeah.
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 I'll sit or stand. I'll make it work. It's fine.
He basically just crosses his hind legs under him. It's like,
He just paces around the whole table as we talk slowly.
Staring each one of us
Every
down.
time someone talks, I'm like,
But like listening intently and piping up in the most important times.
you know,
If I'm sitting and people are like standing up around me, you know, I feel super weird. Like,
Yeah.
you'll actually see, like, I'll stand up. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this feels weird.
But people make that decision.
I remember
think I-
shoulder surfing you like my first couple of days, and it was like, you have to sit or I have to stand.
So Cranmor is the guy at the easel with the big pad of paper and markers, writing down people's ideas.
Yeah.
The moderator or facilitator of the discussion.
Cranmore is the whiteboard guy. He's up there with the marker.
Yeah.
I'll just mark it down.
It's
Whatever.
okay. Glass is dry erase. It's
Yeah,
fine.
there you go.
Ooh, do we have dry erase markers?
You know, with charcoal or chalk or
We
something.
have Bob.
Oh,
You
we
do have Bob.
Oh my God.
We can.
We still have Bob.
I like that nobody wanted to call it Bob while Joel was here, but now that he's gone, everyone's calling it Bob.
It's a scroll.
I think the only reason nobody wanted to call it Bob was purely to fuck with Joel. That was the only reason.
Because he was so adamant that he was being called Bob. He was like, it is Bob now. I will call it Bob. And I'm like, no.
So the only way it should be Bob is if there's an acronym to go with it.
Yes. Wait. Let's just call it Etch a Scroll for now.
There we go.
So we can set up the Etch a Scroll as like a sort of what we don't know as a dry erase board.
Right.
So I'm very happy to use the scroll. Right?
To answer your question, Kate, the dragon actually didn't make the chairs. The dragon blasted the sand for it, and the kobolds carved them into chairs.
Hi, Kate.
The table is not like, it doesn't actually have like leg room, it's just a glass slab. But you know, you're kind of like, you can still sit at the edge of it and it's just fine.
Okay,
But I'm sure
that's
it's
fine.
still so glorious.
It is super gorgeous.
Did you walk up next to him?
Not yet.
Okay, not yet.
Also, Kate says hi.
So shall we begin?
Yeah. So, Daryl, you have a proposition for us, I believe. Yeah, so basically, so these guys actually is kind of how the story started.
These guys.
We were under the thrall of a dragon too, a dragon called Maliraxys, and we were convinced that Maliraxys needed to be resurrected.
There was a dragon that you did something with.
Yeah.
Maliraxys tried to possess me, yes.
He successfully possessed you. Yes.
Right, he
But
did.
I axed that tree down.
But all of that aside, what matters is the tree that was used for the resurrection was destroyed, and we were released from Maliraxys' thrall. And these guys were so gracious that they made some introductions to the town nearby. And the town of Aliton gave us some allowances so that we could start to do business with them and trade with them and exchange knowledge. And what that did eventually was get us a little bit more just information from the whole country of Dane. And so we found out about this new church that was rising in the Pnelmeyer swamp.
Vrontulk.
Church- Yes, Vrontulk's church, the Church of the Gathering Soul. What are you? Oh, is it? So it's which way? That way?
That's good.
Gathering Soul?
Storm.
Gathering Storm.
The Church of the Gathering Storm was growing, and from all accounts, it was an evil thing. Vrontulk is a lord of fury.
He killed one of their priests.
Very good.
He was.
What was the name of the city?
You sent off one of his acolytes.
It
Yeah,
was
Acolyte, yeah.
Mordecai,
Mordecai.
What was it? I forget what the name of the city.
Aquilea.
We found him in Aquilea, and we ended up.
So near.
Yes. And
Well, I suppose it's not that surprising. The Pnelmeyer swamp is not far off.
and the things they did to Deadwood, it was. But we got him.
They are bad folk. And so, after hearing some tales of their
Oh, I thought there was another one.
No, I was just for saying hi there. After hearing tales of their nefarious deeds, we
So nefarious.
we decided they had to be stopped. This is Daryl. You don't have to butter him up too much. But if you're just having flavor, that's also fine. Just making sure you know.
Never know when a friend.
But
Yeah,
he
no,
doesn't.
sure.
He doesn't really know Daryl yet.
I don't.
True. I'm just making sure you know which one is talking because
Oh,
the voice is
you
similar.
got it. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
okay.
good. Yeah,
Alright,
yeah.
cool. All right.
Daryl is not such a hoity-toity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. So, we set out to combat the church. Now, in some ways, this was just making sure that people disbelieved their priests. We were able to get some folks from the town of Aliton to convince other people to go out and do the same. We ourselves were traveling the land, and that's how we got here. Our path took us from east to west, going along trying to find any followers of this church and dissuade them from their path, to show them that what they were doing was not right. And we've had some success in this, but our numbers are a hindrance. If you, Azu, and your tribe would join us, it would nearly double the folks we have under our regime. Yes. What was your name again?
Out of character.
Rashido?
Out of
Oh,
character.
okay.
I thought I remembered last time that you said the cave system was so expansive that it actually connected to where Daryl was at.
No.
Not that.
No, not.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Sorry.
Different cave system.
We're like halfway across the continent.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not quite that wide.
All right.
It is big, but it's like.
It's totally
It's in
like
region.
it was the overland thing that I was.
I think I have mentioned. No, wait, that was the
I
other group.
didn't know where Daryl was. It's fine. We can move on.
Okay, cool.
That was just kind of a.
I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not missing something in my own notes. But yeah, I think we're good. I think it's just different cave systems. So we traveled east to west, combating the church, and our numbers would be greatly bolstered by your tribe, Azu, if you would lend them to us. And Azu kind of leans back in his chair and he strokes his chin a little. He says, "Yes, well, all of that is good. And I see that joining you would be, as you say, a good deed. But what proof have we that this church is truly evil? And what is in it for us, should we help you?"
Azu, if I may speak,
Please.
it is my belief that one of the greatest wars is brewing since memory was lost.
Brewing beer?
Since memory has been lost, everyone that's going to be a part of this is going to be living in infamy for a long time.
And you think this is part of that war?
Yeah.
Azu can also, if he looks at me, he can see physically I'm starting to get upset.
Okay.
There are two tacks I'd like to take there. One is, I want to address your point about the proof of this is evil. And the first question I've got to respond to that, Azu, do you know what a lesson is?
I'm not familiar. Though you seem agitated. Is something the matter?
Sorry, I just really feel really strongly about it.
Oh, about what in particular?
About Vrontulk. I kind of like.
Yeah. I see.
I see his name.
Lesson is. I'm sure you just forgot. I'm
Whispering in his ear.
it's the guardian of the forest.
Say that again and don't.
I'm sure you just don't remember. It's the you probably know, but it's the guardian of the forest.
Just when he's whispering, it's like I don't know if Lloyd is picking you up.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's totally fine. That's dramatic.
It's dramatic.
I'll be honest, anybody that's listening, it probably just hears a bunch of noise happening.
Yeah.
The hands.
That's
Sorry.
Yeah.
As an audio guy, that would be like.
The idea that I'm going for is the whole kind of maybe you
Absolutely.
obviously you
Yep.
just don't remember.
Yeah.
You're so knowledgeable.
Oh, of course. The Leshen is a guardian of the forest. Yes.
Yes. And so we met with I'm sorry, this is offensive, humanoid,
Oh, they all look the same to me. too.
cleric type person. We were a very bad man.
Yes.
Who stole the heart of the Leshen and therefore the heart of this
From the
forest.
Church of Vrontulk.
He was a priest.
Yes. So we met up with a priest. It put a disease on the land and the inhabitants of the land and the guardian of it, and we were able to right it to a bit.
But it's okay. We took care of him.
Sort
You don't
of.
have to worry about it.
Such a bad man, though, must be part of an evil organization.
It'll take a long time to heal, but this was not far from here. And there's the. I'm going through my notes now. Sorry.
There is a chance that this iniquity comes to your door.
And who better?
It's
to
like
lead-
Sorry. Actually, I
Mordecai.
say it more like there is a chance this iniquity comes to your door.
And who better to lead this movement than you?
So we met with Mordecai, who was.
I see.
I kind of look at you like,
Vrontulk.
You guys are seeing me, obviously, like
yes,
kind
but,
of whispering in his
but
ear.
I kind of like too far type thing.
I don't know that you can hear what
But
I'm
the
saying.
greatest evidence
Oh,
that
okay.
we have
We
that
can notice
Vrontulk is
gestures,
evil
though.
Oh,
is
no,
because
yeah.
Well
we
then,
understand
no.
it's-
If I don't hear
Guys,
it, then
guys, wait.
The greatest evidence we have of Vrontulk's evil is not just in his acts and how he combated, but we know how he was released. And so I proceed to tell the story of Garrett
Oh boy.
and the release of
oh god.
all of it. The same way we were told our dwarf ship captain. That puts us in a
What
better light
context here?
and Garrett in a worse light. Edrith. Yeah.
Out of character, but really fun.
Yeah.
Because I want to say it again every time it comes up. But I killed him twice.
We know
Wait, you killed Erden twice, didn't you?
I know, but it's
Fair enough. Yeah.
So we know what Vrontulk is. He's not even the worst thing we fear right now, but he's one of the two big ones that we fight, that we struggle against.
Indeed.
It's significant, and it's a pall upon on a ever growing land.
Imagine
So the evil is beyond contest.
Imagine 10 times the power of that dragon we just slew, at least. All evil.
In a way,
Almost enough to bring to bear my power.
exactly.
But without any benefit of your power.
Indeed.
Or guidance.
I am
Then the
almost
second question.
convinced,
He will
but
rule
There's a
with
second question.
more of
But-
an iron fist.
you, dragon-touched one, why does this make you so angry?
Because he got fucked by a dragon.
Take a second.
Still walking funny.
I'm still walking funny from that last week.
Dragons can be pretty raging.
Worth it.
I didn't notice you had to limp in here. Alright, go
I
ahead.
forget what I was gonna say.
Why would you be angry?
To do with Vrontulk.
Oh, right.
channel your inner Joel.
He's lackey almost convinced me to join his side.
There was a struggle, and
There definitely was.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like you were pretty into it for a little while.
Yeah, that's the almost
That's
convinced part.
the thing.
That's the problem.
I was convinced part.
Vrontulk's very power is seductive.
It's like it did convince you, but everybody else pulled you back.
He almost took me. That's why I'm angry with him.
Yeah. But Ogma came and anointed
Yes.
No,
us
what you're
something else.
angry about is that you're angry yourself.
It is about you more, isn't it?
Alright, but he's projecting
Wait, are you
it
actually
onto-
saying this? Because I haven't emotionally processed that yet.
Norman is still at the projecting it onto others phase.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So we have anecdotes and lore to establish the
There's
evil
a tail
of
twister
Vrontulk.
over here.
And his minions, several of whom we've met, and some of whom we've battled. Then there's the question of what's in it for you and your people. And that is a key question. So some of it is safeguarding. You in a great, mighty position need to look after the well-being of your people.
Especially with this wonderful
And he's-
kingdom you have.
And Vrontulk
Indeed.
is on your border.
You guys are all pulling
And
some
spreading.
punches here. I like this.
He can also pull you into his thrall.
You guys are kind of learning.
And
I like
be-
it.
you may be in service with him.
You would no longer be a king.
Oh,
You would lose your power. they would lose their free will, and this land would be accursed, like the land of the Leshen that we had to.
We would all be
free.
slaves.
But the glory.
I'm convinced then
Slaves
of
to the power of love.
the threat and reasoning behind my joining. However, there is one other question I must put to you, and probably Daryl specifically. He looks across the table at Daryl, who kind of sits up in his chair and says, kind of looking at you, Rashido, and kind of smiling a little bit, says, "Yes, Your Grace."
What the and maybe if I would know, don't tell me. Is there like an undertone of like tribe discrimination with kobolds? Like
Not nearly as much as there is with different colored dragons.
okay,
There may be a little bit of like general enmity, but it generally comes with territory, not with anything else.
Okay, all right.
So like them being from so far away, it doesn't really play here.
Really? Okay, cool. Thank you.
Out of character, how far away is this nation from where Daryl is from?
We're across the continent.
You are-
right up the
Like
river.
on a very
Do you
opposite
want to see
side.
the map?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
show the map
That's
actually.
kind
Yeah.
of why I was. Oh, that's the
Yeah.
caves earlier, right?
Yeah.
That's why I was
Yeah.
like charging Daryl to hug him. We were
So,
So Daryl is
far away.
originally from about here.
okay.
No, here, right?
Here, and,
Aliton is on
we
the
are.
And
over-
we're around
Over
here.
yeah.
Okay.
So you're like well over a third of the way across the continent.
Across another nation, right?
Well, this
Almost.
is still
So
Maine.
technically, you're here.
But how much?
Because you're not in Aquilea. This is like
I
the edge
thought
of
we
the
were
Deadwood.
east of it.
No,
Okay,
you're west
we're
of it.
west of it.
So like the Deadwood kind of starts here, and then
Still
off the
the
map a
same
little bit. There's like it's basically a U-shaped
Nation,
forest.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So like half the continent away.
Yeah.
so Daryl, how is your relationship with your most recent partner since we've left?
Before I answer that, allow me to address the king's query.
That's
There
very,
is-
very humble of you.
Yes. There is another piece of information that we must provide. There are changes happening with the Danish army.
Yes.
Certain
Preach on, preacher man.
things have come to pass that have made a good number of the soldiers question their loyalty and the purpose for which they're fighting.
Preach.
A good number of them have begun to defect. I think we would be able to gain the support of a good amount of the Danish army were we to bring this issue to bear in the public.
Can we trust the dick? I'm so sorry. You were probably thinking that yourself.
The ones
My
who... Oh,
I gesture over to.
Daryl
it is a good question.
or Azu?
Can we trust the Danish army? They did so ferociously invade their northern neighbor. Daryl says, yes, they did, but only at the behest of their king. And I'm sure you know very well what a subject would do for their king. But
And
as,
this king is corrupt.
as more and more information gets spread, and he actually kind of looks at you, Morthos, and kind of gives you a little nod, because your propaganda is no small part of this. As more information is spread, more of the Danish soldiers are beginning to think that the king's reasons for war are false. They're not really what he's after. And if he would lie to them, as I'm sure your grace would never do, if he would lie to them, then there is no good reason for them to continue following him and fighting for him. Well, I see. With the Danish army's force to bear, that would be quite the force to bring against Vrontulk and his church. Do you think we can convince them? Well, the more people we get, the more likely we are to be able to do so. But I think we'll need some non-kobold allies in order to get there.
Do we need to take a break?
Do we need to go on intermission, guys? It is 9 o'clock. I mean,
We're getting to a critical point in this meeting, and
I don't think drawing
I'd like-
penises is a
very well. I shall adjourn the meeting so that I may confer with my advisors, and we shall meet again in 10 minutes' time.
Excellent.
Alright, we're gonna go to intermission, everybody.
I like how you worked that in.
Thank you. The second
Fuck!
Did you time that deliberately? Excellent. Good.
That's what my countdown was for.
Alright,
So Rob can say fuck.
well, in that case, I suppose that, yes, we can lend you our strength. We should try and get the Danish army in on this as quickly as we can, of course.
And you, this is Daryl talking.
This is Azu.
Azu. Daryl, your relationship with the kingdom that we left you in, how is that relationship?
With Dana at large, or with Aliton specifically?
Aliton.
It's going quite well. We have a few folks back there still. As you can see, a party of us came out east or out west to try and get more support, but perhaps half a dozen or so still remain near the town. And they report very good trade relations, and in fact, we came by this information about the Danish army from some soldiers that came through the region and reported an increase in deserters.
Have you had any negative experience with the army that's been coming across the north?
Most of the army that would give us any trouble is in Erevar by now. Dane itself is relatively sparsely populated with soldiers at the moment.
Oh, and so they crossed the
You
border.
are aware of the...
Oh yes. How much about the war do you know?
The last we heard was we were in Apatro at the Battle of the Worm, and then we left at the end of that, and we don't know what happened with the Danish army or its movements after that.
Okay,
so
we're going to invade.
out of character. The point at which you had the battle
That
with
we're going
the worm,
to invade Orgillion.
Yeah.
We're going to.
So
But
that
we're
was
invading.
actually well after the start of the invasion.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you all heard that they attacked Ulmer, the capital,
Yes.
killed a couple of the dukes.
Yep.
I did not know that. I don't remember that.
In character, you definitely do.
Okay.
If the others do,
But we've
you
seen a
definitely
lot of military movement.
Oh,
In
like,
Dane.
what was that for?
In Dane.
Right, so and we heard a lot of what was going on near the border with Dane in Aragon.
Not so much lately, though. Since you all started your trip from Albatro, you haven't seen that much military presence. In fact,
Yeah.
Aquilea had a notable lack of it.
Yeah,
Interesting.
they're welcome.
That's a whole lot.
So
That's like a
It's
shot.
not even 2 fingers.
It's a
this
shot.
intelligence is very helpful and important.
You want to bet?
Do you not realize
No, that's
two
fine.
ounces
Okay.
is?
I'm still going to drink it.
That's a finger. That's a little bit more than a shot.
Yeah.
So,
I always thought like a shot was like...
That's
One
so
finger.
Azu, what is so?
That's like a shot and a half.
Let me actually, Daryl. What would you like to see materially from Azu?
The support of him and his retainers and subjects. If we can garner their support, then they can range abroad with us, so that we can bring the word of this treachery to other towns and other places and spread the word. Get more people against the church so that they can dissuade its followers. And eventually, we'd like to attack the Penelmeyer swamp. But
An attack on a swamp.
I believe that is
a good goal.
far down the line, but it is our goal.
Okay.
I will attack you.
Is there anything that we can do, Daryl, to support advance on that goal?
Anywhere you go, tell people about the evils of the gathering of the storm. And
Azu, this is effing evil. Vrontulk is a dick.
We could.
Daryl,
I believe
could
it.
also-
I'm good. I'm there.
Perhaps we could even provide you with a stronghold from which to pool your resources and assault.
That would be immensely helpful.
Looks like you have a good start here with that sort of thing.
A real base of operations would go
And
incredibly
we're so
far.
close to the swamp.
I will be happy to spread word of your stories.
That is the main way we get this
Some stuff.
working is word of mouth. Getting people to know about
Get it
the
all over
operation.
place.
Gathering support among the Danish deserters, among townsfolk who live in and around the swamp region, whatever we can do to tell people about this evil.
We're looking to build a coalition, so we can pull some different nations together.
There's a lot of friends in Erzar. Several friends throughout the Danish realms.
More friends to make.
And you're our most valuable.
I have
Of
some
course.
friends in England even.
In England?
What's wrong with England?
England.
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 I mean, England sucks.
Depends on what time period you're talking about.
No, all time period, England is a bunch of dicks.
I mean,
Trying to think of a counterexample, currently failing.
yeah, I'm like, I mean, I can't deny
But
that.
periods of English history are let's go fucking
Destroy people and
rape
pillage them.
and
Yes.
like make them do our
But
thing.
this is like
To an
major
extent, that's like
events,
all
not the
countries.
spectrum of actual people that live there.
Portugal only fucked Brazil. Like, you gotta give that to them. They only fucked
okay,
Brazil.
sure.
The
Wait,
Spanish were like, okay, fine.
But
Portugal,
at least
we're
in
gonna fuck the
Brazil,
rest of the continent.
at least
Yeah.
in Brazil, when Portugal left, everybody just intermixed.
Portugal
So you
didn't
don't
fucking
have the
leave.
remaining.
Brazil kicked them the fuck out.
So,
Okay.
are
fair.
we,
Anyway.
what are we?
Nonetheless.
Are we achieving our goals from this summit?
I think so. I think that Daryl has the support
I think
of my tribe and my people.
our gracious host has agreed to provide Daryl what he needs and desires in exchange for nothing. Just out of the generosity of his glorious rule.
Oh, my goodness!
Very
wow.
well. Why can't you speak that well? He looks at his like left hand and is like, learn from him.
Learn to coerce me like he does.
Do we need to have a rest before we go get the weapon?
No.
Yes, I do.
I have no idea what happens with the weapon. It's my first time, so.
Well, I
I need
have.
a West.
There's
I have
a lot of
like 14.
possibilities.
I'm looking
You're a
rough.
virgin?
I'm at 50% right
He's a
now.
weapon virgin.
I'm pretty exhausted.
I'm fucked up.
All right.
Now we feast.
We'll take a beat. Your short rest. Okay.
At least need hit points back.
Your short rest, you can expend all of your hit dice and get your
Okay.
hit points back.
Yeah. We can do that. That's fine. I'm done with that.
So you just roll the number of hit dice equal to, I think it's up to your level.
Hit dice is roll the number of hit dice. Is it defined?
It's your HP die. The die you roll for when you level up and get more HP.
I've got 36
I think there's a D8.
points left that I can give unto
D8?
people.
I think so.
16.
And you said how many hit dice?
Up to your level.
Up to my level, and we are level
Are y'all still 8 or are you 9 yet?
level 9.
8.
7.
You wait, you're 8 still?
13.
We just.
I'm 9.
I'm 8.
I just became 8.
I'm almost 9. In 5K, I'll be 9.
Oh, I'm sorry, mate. I'm 8.
Yes,
Sorry.
you are.
Okay.
I was reading the top level
All
of my
of us
scale.
are level 8.
Okay.
And some of many
Oh
of us
fuck! You
became
guys are almost a whole level behind the other party. I guess you're like 3 weeks, 2.
Because we keep canceling and they don't.
Yeah. It's okay though.
Productivity.
Next week they can't have a session and you all will.
Well, we better defeat another dragon then. Or 2.
Shit, I lost count.
I have 36 hit points.
You
I
can
can
take
give
the
back.
average if you'd like.
Okay. I got.
How bad are you off, man? You're
I
like
was
powerful,
at
are you?
14 out of
He
67.
got fucking wrecked.
Yeah, you
I
got
think.
pretty
Did you
bad.
go down once or twice?
41.
I don't know. Probably at least once.
Here's the
I don't know.
thing.
Might have been
I
twice.
think it was
Honestly,
twice.
You,
Might have been.
you don't matter a whole lot, and neither does Morthos if you're not going for the weapon, I think. Right? Just
Oh.
sit down.
Yeah.
Rashido, on the
Well,
other
if
hand,
I'm resting
Rashido
for a
used to
few
be
hours,
strong.
I'm good.
What about me?
Oh, let me
Rashido
actually
must be
ask
strong.
Emily
I heard my name.
what she thinks.
What about Emily?
Emily could be another contender for the thing.
Yeah.
I'm up
Yeah,
to.
totally.
I'm up to like 2/3 my health. Ish.
I thought that we had talked. I thought that we had decided last time that Emily was going to take it.
Maybe.
But
I thought I already gave it to her, and then I
She
still
doesn't
have 36
use weapons.
But I still have
but
36
don't
points
like
left.
theirs, so it's like.
Yeah. I think honestly, we just like
Although maybe I might.
I think honestly we just like keep it in the party bag.
Oh, fuck
So
it.
we brought this up where, what if we have the protectors keep it instead of the party keep it?
Oh
If a Myrmidon holds the weapon instead of
Oh.
the Keeper of Fate.
I like
It
that.
can be,
I'm sorry, say it again.
if a Myrmidon holds the weapon here,
Wow.
it's sort of nation building,
But they
right?
didn't want to.
But I don't
That's
know.
fair, that's
but
fair.
they're protecting it, and they're
They
supposed to wait for
specifically
us.
said they. Yeah, exactly.
So I like the idea, but the story doesn't work with it. So we need to
they
find
were
somebody else to
saying
hold
that
it.
They were
I don't
doing
know
it
why
until
not,
there
though.
was.
No,
Because they're the ones
don't,
supposed
I
to
don't think
protect
you're
it
correct though.
for
They will no. They
for
specifically
whomever
said
is
they will not wield it.
right.
They are protecting it and
that's on a
waiting
20.
for somebody else.
It's worth asking.
So maybe
because
they
one of
can
them is
choose.
worthy.
Maybe they can choose who wields it.
They were just waiting for somebody worthy the same way.
Yeah,
as the
they
door
said
was.
that. Yeah, exactly. They said they're waiting for somebody worthy.
That's what
What
they
if
said,
one
like-
of them is worthy, and they just didn't bother to,
It's worth
apply
asking
for
him.
this job.
Yeah, it's.
I
can ask
agree
him.
that it's worth breaching the topic to see if they've thought about it. But
That also means that we get Myrmidons and all the other groups that are
In-
protecting to also be part of our coalition.
with my character, I want the fucking
fart
thing.
so bad.
It's
That's the
magic.
case, then you should just go for it.
I
We just
can-
have- we-
I
we-
can feel things coming off of it. It's a
feel
small
the tail
handy
rising.
things, right? So
I mean, I don't
it's-
think I would have an issue with him
dex-based.
having it if it came down to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cranmor is like, I don't want any of them because, this magic, that's pretty. But so that's why.
It's a matter of any of us saying something about it, or some of us taking it.
So Cranmor can
And there's
hold
actions
something
that are
for it.
involved in it.
There's a little bit of jealousy.
Man, I need like an
that-
air freshener in here or something.
You do, yeah. You notice that too when you
Yeah.
walk back in, right? It smells like ball sweat.
I don't know if it's particularly that, but it
But you
does
said it
smell
smelled like
sweat.
me, so you're saying that I smell like ball sweat?
No, I was fucking with you. earlier.
It does not smell good.
Y'all smell
Yeah.
like flowers.
Yeah.
No, we don't. We definitely don't. I could smell
It
I do.
actually might be the alcohol
Might
in the
be.
wood, but
it. Could be.
like
I have a terrible sense of smell, so I
there's
can't
a
smell.
little bit of jealousy that Barkin has with
You have to walk
you
out for a
having
bit.
this
You get
weapon
blind to
and
it.
doing this thing,
Sure.
right?
There's a lot of power that goes along with it.
Like
Or
I-
magnificence, I'll say.
yes, that's a better word.
Yeah.
As far as Barkin's concerned, anyway.
Right.
This is why you want the next relic weapon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I'm not gonna outwardly go.
What
yeah,
weapons
but
are
it's
you
a-
proficient with?
With
Rocks, silverware.
yeah,
Slingshot?
daggers,
we had a slingshot that we
darts,
got or
light
something.
crossbows, quarterstaff, slings. So the
Okay.
rapier I'm not, but I could train. for
Remember,
that.
though,
the
that
dagger that I
They,
am.
so actually, I guess you guys don't necessarily know this, but you'll find it out right quick. The weapons will transform into other forms in order to match their user.
Yeah, this was
Really?
he
Oh,
hinted at it
what?
before.
I in character I'm
In character, actually, none of you know this
I
because
definitely
Morphos'
don't know
axe
that.
Verison didn't need to change forms for him. It was a battle axe, and he likes battle axes.
Oh my gosh! If like these are
That
gonna
would be
change
cool.
into like a quarterstaff, like that.
That would be cool.
I don't know that, but that would be
Does one of them change into
really-
like good
really
horseshoes?
cool.
So, okay, I'll be honest.
Brian, put
I've been
down the
thinking
sword.
about. Yeah, the
Please
point of
put
balance
down
is
the
shit
sword.
on them.
Yeah, I was just checking it.
Yeah, they're not good.
It's not sharp.
They're great trainers because they'll teach you to wield a sword that feels a lot heavier than a real one.
Okay.
But they're not good swords for actually using.
I need like if you're like I don't know if you do it any, but like I actually for a while wanted to get some of the bamboo katanas to actually do some real.
They're great,
Training?
actually. So I don't know any kendo, but if you want to learn some like Hema, I'm happy to teach. I know the basics.
I don't know what Hema-
Historical
What's
European
Hema?
martial arts.
Oh.
So like the
What's
German and
kendo?
Italian styles of longsword fighting.
Oh.
He's also pretty good
Longsword
at teaching
fighting?
them.
I've done a lot with European and some Japanese martial arts.
Okay, I would
With weapons.
love
So-
to. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would super love to.
I'd be more than happy to help teach.
Okay, awesome.
That sounds cool.
Fighting.
Dude, well I am
I'll put on a helmet
I'm a
again.
varsity fencer. I love
Wait, really?
yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah,
You're a
we should-
varsity fencer?
We should do
credit
this.
at Case Western Reserve. I was
He's
a
like,
fencer.
you're like, I don't have to start at the bottom here. I'm gonna start somewhere else.
Oh, I still got my gear.
This is good.
Really?
No,
Yeah.
this is awesome.
Oh,
We should get
yeah,
together and do
absolutely,
this.
right? Yeah. So
Sounds
fucking
awesome.
hot in those things.
Oh yeah.
But it's so much
Yes,
fun.
it is. Yes, it is. We
Oh
should do
my
this.
god.
This is good. I like
we,
this.
we actually brought in a guy one time who I studied it in college, obviously. We brought in a guy that the professor knew, and he was like straight up. He was one of those guys that was straight up like no plan, no foil, like he would just run at you kind of shit. It was wild. But oh my god, yes, it's so much fun
Yes, it
sword
is.
fighting.
Yeah, those are the ones that do
Love
well in
it.
competition, not an actual sword fight.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. It's a surprise. Once you see it and you know that they're gonna do that, they
Yeah.
completely
Yep.
fail.
Yeah.
But
But if you get a couple rounds in
the
where they're
whole
still not
kind
expecting
of,
it,
right,
it's like, oh,
the
okay.
parry. Oh my
Okay,
Oh,
good. So we should
huge
do
fan
this shit.
of sword fighting.
Cool. Yeah, I don't just own them for show. Yes. All right.
So
So
I used to actually own like a lot of swords, and then Michelle made me get rid of them when I had the kids. When we had kids,
see, we're just gonna
I'm
put
like,
a
I'll
lock.
just put them high. And
We're
she's
just
like,
gonna
"No."
put a lock on that closet. We've
I-
discussed this at
I
length.
play with my kids with them.
Once they're old enough, yeah. All right. So D&D.
That's sword fighting is.
D&D. Sword fighting is.
All right, so we're resolved on the summons. Is that? Can we?
Yes.
So
Short
How
rest
do we
happens.
end this?
Anyone who wants to spend their hit dice can spend their hit
Just did
dice.
it.
Afterwards,
Son.
yeah, Daryl and Azu basically feast. There's a feast set out. This is kind of during the short rest, I suppose.
What kind of food?
delicious. Let's keep going.
Actually, lots of goat.
Okay.
During this, I'm catering to Azu.
Awesome.
Corn and
Goat's milk, yogurt, like all that kind of stuff.
drink. Alcohol.
Absolutely, mostly ale.
Okay.
Some actually
Oh, that.
wine, not liquor, which is very interesting.
For kobolds, yeah.
Yeah,
Point
it's from the dragon
kobolds.
store. They
Yes, we
reveal.
do.
a point that I made sure to point out
Yeah.
to his generosity.
Of course. And he's, yes, well, it is a special occasion. I'm not always quite so magnanimous, but you all deserve the best.
I would like to try to get a drum line going
Cool.
to entertain the
Actually, the kobolds get really into that, and several of the kobolds will like join you with. They actually have like their own drums,
Nice.
which are like half the size of yours, but they give a nice little offset to like a higher pitched sound than the lower pitch of your percussion.
This is when we're resting.
That's one thing I got.
Yeah,
that's-
this is all during the feast where you all are taking your short rest.
Okay, cool.
All right. So that all concluded. Azu says, "Well, would you like to stay for the evening and just partake more of our hospitality, or do you have other things you need to attend to?"
We couldn't impose upon you that much.
Oh, it wouldn't be an imposition.
Well, I've got one imposition.
I've heard you have tunnels that lead to other parts of this mountain.
The
Oh,
Myrmidons
yes.
are protecting a relic, and I'm going to be very forward about this. We're concerned about the well-keep of this relic.
I don't know much about a relic.
And I looked at Corilla.
There was a place where the dragon was trying very hard to drill through the stone and expand the cave, but
You know what direction that was?
it's back that way. And he points, and the cave kind of veers off into another tunnel. And he
It's kind of
says,
important, and I'd like to go now.
it's mostly just a straight shot, but the dragon wasn't able to penetrate as far as I know.
Can we go check it out?
Corilla pipes up
I was
at
gonna
that.
say.
And she says, "Oh, yes, the dragon would not have been able to penetrate it. The reliquaries are immensely powerfully sealed, with magic that cannot be broken or, well, certainly not beaten by brute force.
We should like
Well,
to
I'm not
visit
talking
the
about brute
threshold.
force, but you know where the entrance to
Yes,
said
all,
seal
all I'm
is.
saying is that the dragon wouldn't have made it through, so going down that tunnel will likely yield nothing for us.
Do you know where the seal is?
We should go to the entrance where the annulus will be useful, and I do know
Let
where
us
that
do
is.
that
Okay,
now.
Can you take us there?
We'll need to go back up. Azu, she bows deeply. Is it all right if we use your elevator? And Azu says, yes, yes, of course. I would not begrudge you that.
Thank you, Azu. You're quite gracious.
Of course.
Your lordship, may I go with them as well?
Yes, please. I would not separate you from your friends.
And I also,
Fantastic.
as I go over there, I make
Oh my god, I laugh. Alright.
Is something amiss?
Oh, sorry. I was,
Time your tits, bro.
I was off elsewhere in my own little world. I'm sorry.
You were thinking that joke I told you earlier.
Yes, I
Make
was.
a deception check with advantage.
I like that.
Me or him?
And
Me.
with advantage because you helped him with the joke.
Roll again, man.
Yeah,
Roll it
twice.
twice.
Yeah, I know. I just gotta
Just
check
roll
my
twice.
bonus.
That one's better.
Oh, that one's good.
Okay.
17 plus numbers.
20.
2 on insight.
That fits with his
Must have been a
character.
good joke. You are more than welcome to go with your friends.
Two clerics walking
After
through a bar.
thank you so very much. I make a show of levitating myself up the shaft. For
That's
like
just-
looking at him
The whole
directly
time.
The whole time. That's spell slot worthy.
Rashido,
I
we
use
just need to get the entrance, man.
I use
as I'm circling you up the
seeing him
spiral.
do that. I use my thing to sprout my wings
Oh yeah, you
and fly up.
use that.
Jasna pops her wings out and flies too.
Yeah, I'm walking, you guys. We're just trying to get to the entrance.
Morthos, you got anything fun to do to get to the top?
Now, so is
Can we
it
hold
one way to
hands?
climb or?
Pray to your master.
How is that
Guys.
supposed to ramp?
There's an
Copycat
elevator.
me, man.
There's
More
flying.
Let us hold hands and calmly walk up without all
Make you
this
fly.
nonsense.
Would you like to fly?
I'd rather walk.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, cool. So you guys get to the top. Corilla says it's a bit of a ways, not too far,
You
but
know the way.
we
you
need
know
to get
the
to
way. You know the way to the reliquary.
yes, I said it's a bit of a way.
Yeah, how do you know the way through all this deep,
How can
dark,
she
and
pre-
tunneling and everything?
How could she protect it without?
You're on
moving
the
away?
surface now.
Oh, I see. Okay, sorry.
It's the entrance is within the walls of the city, so let's make haste.
But your friends are within the walls of the city too, right?
I
Should we
think
If any
can we check on them
survive,
first?
Absolutely.
I
Catch
think we'll
myself.
check with them as we go, and hopefully they're okay.
Yes, exactly right.
All right, we make haste.
All right, let me see here.
I cast haste.
Oh, that's
Wait,
common.
is that a real spell?
Yes. Because I completely misunderstand what he says, and I cast haste on him.
I said make, not cast.
What does haste do?
Haste is a
Your speed is-
seriously kick-ass spell.
Your speed is doubled. Your AC goes up by 2, and
Basically, it's,
I love it.
yeah, it's
making like especially on a mug.
you
which
get an
makes it so
extra
great.
action every round, and I think you suffer a level of exhaustion. No, you're stunned for
When
a
it's
round
done,
afterwards.
But it's like so basically he's God. The next
For a
minute.
couple of rounds.
Yeah.
He just like it's like he just like chugged a gallon of straight caffeine. He's like,
This is wonderful.
hey Burke, how's it going? That's great.
Okay.
Marked off that spell slot.
Excellent. Alright, so you're hasted for how long does it last? A minute with concentration?
Let me look it up.
I think it's something like that. It doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah.
It's
It's like on
flavor.
cocaine. I grab Corilla. We're
It's
going
flavor.
now.
Okay, we're going now.
I want to see him bolt up the stairs.
You're just on speed for like a minute.
Cranmor on 1 speed.
You've never seen anything faster. Never.
You're the bloodborne of Moostar monks. I'm
He's
you,
standing
but
at the top,
faster.
like waiting for us in the elevator, like, come on, guys, what the fuck is the game's on?
What's the hold up?
No, he's like running up the spiral.
And then runs back down and runs back up.
Yeah.
He makes like 4 laps of it before the elevator gets to the top. Like, come on, guys, come on.
What elevator? We're not taking the elevator.
Yeah, sure.
We're flying.
Yeah.
I found the relic twice, you guys.
I found the relic and the next one and 4 others. Wait, no. Those were just more crack rocks.
We have solved all of our problems for the next 4 months.
So how far away is the entrance?
About 3 miles.
3 miles.
So, you make it in about an hour. Cranmor makes it in about 10 seconds.
3 miles, that's nothing.
And then Mad Crash.
Yep. The gates to the city are like barred shut. But Corilla
I
issue.
hate bars and doors and gates.
Are you doing something before Corilla
yes.
does?
You're preaching to the
Crash
choir.
through the gate.
Oh gosh.
Preaching to the choir, Cranmor. Preaching to the
How
choir.
far away is it? 3 miles.
Yes, I'm at the end of this 3 miles. Are
How
you doing
long
something
would
in the
that
intervening
take
time?
you to get to?
Let's
If
see.
you were
If you
hasting.
start on haste, what's that? Double 65 feet.
Yeah, so 130 every 6 seconds. So you'd go a mile in.
Can we, for flavor,
that's-
say that he's still hasted when he gets to the gate?
I mean, 3 minutes. He'll get to the gate in 3 minutes, no problem.
Yeah.
You're running
It's
1 minute.
it's a mile in 50 seconds, isn't it?
It's something
What?
ludicrous. So a human, a regular human without haste sprinting hard is going to do a mile in like 4 minutes, right? A good healthy human.
Yes.
So imagine
A
a
really,
moose tar-
really healthy human.
Yeah, imagine
Yeah.
a moose tar on cocaine.
Like,
It's gonna
be on
do a mile
Olympics.
in
On
under
good, on uncut cocaine.
Yeah, 2 minutes for the mile. 3 miles, give it like 4 minutes, okay?
Can we-
Because
Okay.
it's
Please,
insane.
just for
Okay,
the flavor
we'll
of
give
it.
you
that's
4
it.
minutes.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. So it's 240 seconds for a mile is what it is.
I'll spend another slot.
Okay.
That's
If I need
it's
to.
fine. You're good.
Okay.
There's no way
He's
it's
gonna throw a
50
swat
seconds.
into the freaking
I was
gate.
I was forgetting that it was
the
5
door.
6.
Okay.
And I was overestimating a little bit.
And
So
then
it's
crash
40
on.
and times
really,
6.
really want to see this.
So 200. So call it 4 minutes to go.
Wait, but that means he
Yeah,
gets
to
there
go
by
a mile.
himself.
Actually, that's crazy.
Oh, he's gonna get there
That's a
before
really
us.
interesting way the mechanics
So
work out.
he gets there before anybody else.
Yeah.
And he just
Imagine a
rams into
horse
the gates.
running.
Yeah, that's what's weird about this
Without
because like
anybody else.
it's mechanically your speed is 65, doubled to 30, gets you 130
Doubles.
feet.
Double to 30.
100.
Double to
130.
130. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. Double to 130 means that every 40.6. It would take you 40.6 rounds to get there. Call that 240 seconds. It's not quite that, but round it, estimate. So we're talking 4 minutes for a mile, which is really
Yeah.
weird because that's a human's running speed.
You would think, right? Yeah.
Yes,
So you'd think that a moose or a horse would be able to get there way faster.
way faster.
That's a good point.
If I'm on a horse,
You're-
I can do that in 2 minutes.
Sorry,
no problem.
yeah, you're dashing. Definitely, right? If you're
Yes.
doing this, so you're not going 130, you're going 260.
Yeah,
So
That
you
halves
get
the
2
time in
minutes
2
a
minutes.
mile.
Yeah.
So you get there in
There we
6
go.
minutes.
And
Whereas-
it took us longer than 6 minutes to explain that.
Yeah.
I need to wait for it.
How many spell slots do I need to expend so that he gets there?
Just the one, it's fine.
Okay.
It's for flavor. I'm willing to just let it go.
I
don't like this!
I really want to see this. Like when he said that, I'm like, I will spend extra spell slots. This is something I need to see.
Yeah, no. Cranmor just like bolts. He just gets to the door well before any of you all get there, and you're gonna just slam into
Fuck
it.
gates! Charge!
Wait,
Because
say that?
probably have
because this just
advantage.
works.
But none of us would hear
Make
it.
an attack
Yeah,
roll.
I know.
What's that?
Make an attack roll.
I get
With
do
advantage.
I get advantage?
You don't need it, but sure.
Okay. Oh, good.
8.
We got a 1. Okay.
Plus.
75.
Yeah. So
Enough. You hit it. Roll damage.
I need more dice. Okay, so I need 2 d8s. I got one. Oh, okay, 2 d8s.
That works.
Hold on, there's more. Okay, plus my 2 d6s. Thank you, he knows. Okay, that's 12 plus 9 is 23 plus
You fuck
5 is 28.
Cool. Alright, this is an immense gate. I mean, like 30-foot tall solid stone. So you slam into it and you feel the gate shudder.
It's like,
But basically nothing more than that.
gate.
Does he take damage?
No.
Okay.
I was expecting one of those anime things where it's like boom, and then you see everything like flash back, and then it just like
Explodes.
I will say, like, there's like a crater around the point of impact, but these gates are fucking sturdy.
It's 28 damage at one go.
Do we see?
Yeah, that barely gets above their damage threshold.
Do we see any mechanism to open the gate?
This is where Jazz like
Not
comes
from the
in.
outside.
Jazz is like, and you flick this lever and it opens.
we're 2
Oh.
minutes behind.
But it is,
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
Do we notice anybody on the other side of the gate?
ridiculously
We don't, we're not there yet.
I'm gonna take a
He's
beat
still
and
sitting.
meditate and relax now.
Okay.
Jeez, that was a
You're hasted. You're
freaking
gonna relax.
Rashido. Yeah, because I am the way of tranquility, and I know that you did something, and I'm like, Rashido, got me good. That was amazing. Woo, that was fast. Okay.
You realize that none of us are anywhere near you at this point.
Just calm down. Just calm down. Just calm down. Okay, they'll catch up. We'll be good, and we'll get through this in a normal, like, intelligent way.
Okay.
Worse.
Oh wait, when I get
There's
there.
a lot of like, willing participants, and then like once you willing it, like I'm just curious. Like it's more philosophical than anything. But
Sure.
if you get it and you're good, and then you go and then you're trying to go, I'm not willing anymore. I'm trying to calm down on a haste or something. How
So
would that
I get.
work?
So here's the thing: is depending on what it is, as a monk at this level, I get the ability to just take a round in anything that's affecting my like ability to control my emotions. I can use the action on that round to just stop it.
But if-
Really?
yeah.
Okay. All right.
So is it to make the saving throw again, or just
No,
end it?
as it's a whole action, a whole round to say, is this causing me fright or? I think it applies here, but if it.
So it probably doesn't rules as written, but it makes sense that it should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's,
one of the things where
it's a good thing that it casts it on a monk, because like a cleric might not have that ability to be able to calm down.
I'm just be like, I'm gonna kill.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. If it were not a monk,
Although,
So
if
anything
it
that
were
should
not
be
a monk, I
fair.
would say if they became unwilling, then that round they would make the saving throw at probably the end
There's
of
no
their
saving
turn.
throw.
but also,
If they're unwilling.
to be
there it
fair,
is,
if
right?
it were me, I would just run right through it.
Not if he couldn't.
Nah.
No, I would run into it, casting meld into stone, and then out the other side.
It's not stone. It's metal.
I
You would
actually
cast-
did say it was
He
stone.
said stone.
I'm ignoring what you said. So that he can cast it, run into a metal wall, and fall down.
Except none of that
No,
actually. It's all hypothetical, so it
So,
didn't count.
so I can undo any kind of charm or threatened or.
I'm sorry.
It's big
Yeah,
pillars.
yeah, yeah.
It's big pillars.
Anyways,
He's
It is
making
a
us-
large
yeah.
arched doorway, split in half.
Split in half.
so
Can I
we come
cast
up.
gaseous form to go through the crack?
Oh yeah.
So
I'll
we
do that.
we come up,
That's
and
clever,
we
he's
see
good.
him
Good call.
sitting there chilling, and
Rashido, that's
and
really
then
good juice.
Does
Oh my gosh.
Cassia say anything? Or not Cassia.
How you doing, buddy?
Gorilla.
Corilla is like about to say something, and then Morthos just turns into gas and just floats like you see this like cloud of mist go up to the door, like seep through the crack, and then you hear a voice call from the other side. I'm through.
Corilla, is there like a
Do I see
password
any
or a leader or
mechanism to open up the gate?
Corilla calls out, look to your, if you're facing the door, look to your left, and you'll see a gatehouse. Inside of that gatehouse is a chain. Pull the lever below the chain and like start yanking on the chain and it'll move.
How
Okay,
far
so I
away
do
is
that.
The
How far away is it?
From him?
Yeah.
Like 10 feet.
Okay. How much pressure?
Pressure.
To do what exactly?
On what thing? Like, how much does he have to pull, or how much does he have to?
He's went through. I just want to magic hand it.
Oh, okay.
What does
Don't you
that
have to
mean?
see it?
No.
Oh.
Wait, what does that mean?
Magic hand is not a C. You can just like throw it out there.
The lever is less than 10 pounds, but the chain is more.
Yeah, I don't know if my magic. That's what I was asking. I don't know if my magic's gonna be. So
It's 10 pounds
you
is the
come
limit
up
for
on
mage
it,
hand.
and it's like so. Let's say this. You come up on it, and it's like halfway, and you see like this invisible force just kind of trying to get it, but it can't actually do it.
You're not a rogue, right? It's just a regular mage hand.
Hand it away and try
It's
to
not
like
just
plug.
it's not an invisible force. It is a spectral hand.
Oh, okay.
It's definitely visible. You see a like ghost hand.
This is my moment. Bat it away.
with more than 10 pounds of force, so the hand can't resist it. Just bat the hand away. Pull the lever and like yank the chain, and you feel it begin to like the lever kind of loosens it. It kind of unlocks, and you can pull the chain down, and the gate begins to rise up.
I go into high-five Morphos. Fuck doors, man!
High five back.
This door, you couldn't get through it.
Yeah. Fuck doors.
How does that feel?
I'm okay, I'm good, I'm good.
All right, good.
I cast taste on you again.
Really? Actually?
I'm marking a spell slot off.
Oh my lord.
Is there anything else I see to go toward? A relic? I'm not kidding.
Yeah,
I grabbed Corella who's with me
the
now.
picture.
So I'm
Really
trying to
quickly.
think. You're basically at the entrance to a very large city.
Corella, where do we go to the relic?
She points
We go.
to a large building.
You're there.
Wait, I cast calm emotions on him.
That will not undo haste.
No. I do it anyways, honestly.
My emotions
And
are
fail
wrong.
at it.
Yeah.
Oh man, I should throw a combat at you guys now because you've wasted all of your spell slots on roleplay things.
You're really putting it up there, right?
Yeah, I cast calm
You should
emotions on him
give us
anyways because like
bonus-
I don't know what the fuck's going on. I just know he's fucking crazy.
So my
What you're
emotions are
looking
actually very
for-
calm. It's just focused.
Is that
It's like we're
You should
going
give
to the
us
thing now, and,
bonus
and there's the
experience.
target. So
Maybe a bit of both.
now it's fast. So
Um,
I'm going there
but you
fast.
feel calm at least.
I always feel calm about it. It's just
yeah.
woo.
It's
Yeah,
like Red Bull
because the
Muppets.
thing about it is Cranmor is getting to move fast for once in a long time, and that's really cathartic.
Anyway, Corilla points at a large building that looks kind of cathedral-like, but the architecture is very different from anything you've seen before. But she points at it, and you have your heading.
Yeah, we're
How
not
different does it look? It's
Cranmor
like
like a-
stone or.
I'm going as
So,
fast
How
as I
stoned
can.
is it?
To describe it,
Is there a shape to it? Is there historical features? Is there
Yes.
a culture to it?
so
A culture to
real-world analog.
To the
There's
beal.
culture all over it.
To the building.
Real-world analog. This is
My
much
culture all
more
over it.
similar to like Aztec or other Central American architecture.
Can I check its history or?
In a second. Let me give it a little bit more.
Sure.
But instead of, so the gates of this are made of stone, and the wall of the city is also largely stone as far as you can tell. But a lot of the buildings within are actually wood, and a lot of them you can see kind of the beginnings of wood rot on.
Wood rot.
But a few of them just time and rain.
The beginnings of wood rot. How long does wood rot take to?
Typically, not all that long if left alone.
Thank
So-
you for joining in on the pedantry. Very
So
good.
typically not all that long.
Well,
if
we
left
walked-
It's
alone.
not pedantic though.
But
We
it's-
walked
it's-
into a mine where I said, "What's the history here?" And it was before the scouring, and now we're way deeper into this thing.
Yeah.
It's something that's wood rot, right?
Yeah.
In like it is early. Well, make a investigation check.
Hold on, you're not there yet.
So
God
yeah,
damn it.
he's literally just taking in the,
Oh, okay.
the scenery. Roll a different die.
Roll a different one, man. That's better.
That's the best I've had.
Holy shit.
Is that a 10?
That's a 9.
9?
All right.
Oh, but plus 5.
Oh,
So,
that's the one I meant
14,
to give him, but I
14.
didn't have it back here.
There you go, that's over 10.
All right.
Worst rolls ever.
What do you get? Just
It's,
try it.
it's cocked.
You know, roll this one. This is the magic one that Jazz is.
A 20. It's a 20.
That's amazing. Emily was rolling horribly, rolled that and got a really high roll.
Yes.
You were rolling terribly, rolling get a nat 20.
That is exactly what happened last week. She was doing nothing, and then you're like, roll with this thing, and it was.
You
gotta fuck.
Stop
So-
touching
Because
it. Leave
you're
it
not
alone.
pure.
Leave it alone.
No, so
Clearly.
I think its magic is if you're rolling badly, then you roll that die and you roll well. Otherwise, it's just a normal die.
So he rolled a nat 20, is what I'm saying.
All right, cool. So,
Based on the golden die, the god of the golden dice.
yes.
Somebody
So,
draw up a GIF or something.
Yeah. Morthos, as you're kind of looking around and you're examining like the stages of wood rot, you can see several of the buildings almost look as though, how do I put this? What you gather is that there was a city that was built here that was relatively rudimentary. And then at some point, still long ago, but definitely after the original structures, other people came in, reinforced a bunch of the structures with stone, and then built up newer buildings and the wall and gate around the city, which match the stone like you saw in the tower on the outskirts, which is this very like light gray, almost white stone.
So we're still in a cavern though, right? It's just
No, this is on the surface. This is the normal, like the upper world.
Oh, we've come out.
Oh, yeah,
to the top of the
absolutely.
mountain.
Have we reached the reliquary?
You're not on a mountain. You're on a
Shit,
Uh,
you might
plain
plateau.
inside of a forested area. At the edge
That-
of the
that's
mountain.
I
come
have
out
a
of the cave, though, right?
huge
Yes.
relic.
Okay. That's just giant city.
Yep.
Okay.
Super old and
You
ancient.
have arrived at the church.
In.
The church.
And then I'm like, Corilla, in?
She's way behind you. but goes,
No, I'm holding
"Yeah,
on to her.
go."
No, she's,
Oh,
I'm
she's on
holding
top
her.
of him.
We're riding.
Yes, in.
In. Boom.
Okay.
Through the door.
The door crashes open as Cranmor. This one doesn't hold up to
Man,
Cranmor's
fuck
strength.
doors.
Fuck doors.
Fuck doors!
High five.
Just,
That's an air 5, because
Yeah.
you're like
yep.
Yeah,
1,000 feet
it was an
behind
Air
him.
5 in real life too.
Yep. So air 5 between Cranmor and
We're still
Morthos.
gaseous and moving fast, right? Never said I know we're back to normal.
Hey, he turned into a fart!
It doesn't direct.
Corilla hops off of your back for a moment, and she
Yeah,
walks
you're
up
just
to the altar of the
diffusing
church.
everywhere.
At this
Sorry to
altar,
put gas on you.
yes,
We're at a very important point here.
side conversations down.
Sorry.
It's okay. So she hops off of your back and walks up to the altar of the church. You see her walk behind it and duck below for a moment, and you hear a sound of something moving. It sounds stony or maybe glass, something chinking. And the altar
Somebody with stone shape right now.
could. The altar shifts downward, it kind of sinks a few inches into the floor, and begins turning. And Corilla hops off and says, "Come."
I go,
You get there instantly.
yeah.
Actually, I'm not used to that yet.
So out of character, Cranmor
Why
has
is
been,
it sideways?
for the last several weeks, anxious about getting to things with the weapons particularly and so on, and you just casted haste on that.
There are no
So
weapons of mass destruction.
he's not pausing for a minute to think about, oh, the group has to catch up. It's like,
Yeah,
we're on target, we're gonna get this thing done.
Doing the thing.
Yeah.
Finding
Alright.
the WMD.
So it's gotten to his head a little bit.
The hole for the altar is a little bit narrower than you are long, so you have to kind of like climb and maneuver downward. But it's just a couple of feet. So like once you're kind of below the level,
It's a little bit wider than he is long.
it's a little bit less wide than you are long. So like the diameter of the hole is less than the 8 feet long he probably is
Okay.
from
I would have
front
thought
of nose to butt.
width. I'm like, never mind.
You have to kind of maneuver yourself to get down there, but it's not very deep. It's like
So
less than
holy.
you are tall. So you're gonna like drop down, and you find yourself in kind of a low-hanging tunnel. And Corilla kind of leads you along, and as she does so, she brings out a notebook, and she begins flipping pages through and consulting it, finding the page she's looking for, and just as you get to a fork in the road,
Do we see what kind of like information's on that page, or just writing and drawing?
it's only Cranmor right now, because the
Yeah.
rest of you are
Oh,
pretty
we're
far
cool.
behind.
Oh yeah, we're way the fuck behind.
I didn't haste any of you guys.
And you'd still be going.
And
half
I'm
as
not
fast.
running after him either.
Yeah.
I'm going literally 4 times faster
Then
than
any
any of you.
Yeah.
And
So she-
I'm like,
Yeah. As
We're
soon
riding
as
him
you
at the
get to
time?
like the first fork in the
I'm
path,
writing him at the time.
she looks up and says, "Simulated annealing," because that's what I found on this page of my notebook.
That was
She says,
funny.
"To the right."
Jump
That's
back.
hilarious.
This is my AI notes, I guess.
From our
gonna turn into
thing at Dennis.
No, it was a little while.
Oh.
Guys. But she says, "To the right." And this continues for what feels like basically further back than the gate of the city. Like it's outside of the actual walls. You go quite a ways, basically back the way you came, and then a little bit more. But this whole time you're kind of ducking because it's not made for moose tars.
Right.
And she's basically standing comfortably, but like the ceiling is a few inches over her head.
She's not really standing.
By the time,
She's being held.
no, she's off of his back
Let her
now.
go, but we're like,
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
need to be pushing her a bit.
you're consciously slowing
yeah.
down.
She's-
but probably your foe.
She's probably dashing,
Yeah.
so you're
Oh,
going like
okay.
normal
Alright.
speed.
Yeah.
Are we like walking behind them, or are we? Kind
No,
of
we're not. We're like
By-
almost to the building.
by
We,
this
we know
point,
they're hasting. Do we?
Yeah.
Are we jogging or?
I'm
Uh,
dashing after them.
So,
Like,
yeah.
I'm way
Sorry,
behind,
I just
but
wanted
I'm
to know what.
totally
what our
fucking
thing was.
dashing after.
the rest
If
of
he's-
the
if he's
Illas are
dashing-
doing the same thing.
if-
Fanilla, Zafilla, and
Then I'm dashing too.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I am
Fanilla.
super glad that he didn't turn into
Vanilla
fucking
is a
butterflies
vanilla.
when I slapped him in the ass. So, like, I am
I could
running
make you
after
roll,
him.
but I was not.
Because that was a wild magic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's literally
What?
a wild magic
Uh,
one, yeah.
I'll if I see them going along, I'll at least jog. I ain't dashing.
I'm dashing.
So,
You're
regardless,
jogging behind all of us.
by the time that what I'm describing right now is
Yeah.
occurring, you guys are at the church and you see the lowered altar, and you can tell like there's a
okay.
pathway underneath of it.
They can see it, or is
If
it-
you're not keeping up with them, then just
Yeah,
the two,
behind,
the
yeah.
two of them and Jasna. Morthos, not Morthos. Wow, Cranmor. At this point, you see the tunnel begin to kind of open up a little bit wider, and the construction of it very suddenly goes from like rough-hewn, really kind of just simple rudimentary tunnel to gorgeous. I mean, just jaw-dropping, gold gilt like symbols on the walls, like in rings around, with what looks to be like magical fire, like
I don't think I can afford to stand here.
like glowing green, just ringing around the entire room. And at the very far end of it from you, like the whole thing is sort of, like I said, ringed with fire and these golden gilt sigils, and also lined with statues of various humanoids mostly, some non-humanoids, but all of them just very like reverently bowed towards this one end of the room where there is a door with an annulus-shaped keyhole.
Do I have the annulus?
No,
I don't think so.
I do.
So you're like, fuck.
So I guess so I'm gonna go right up there, and then meditate.
Okay.
Two things. First, that is a fucking awesome notebook.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love this thing.
Sick.
That is a cool notebook.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it.
Second, I thought you were a cashews guy.
Those are
Yeah.
delicious.
I like cashews too.
Can-
I switched to mixed nuts.
Can I suck your nuts?
You can suck on these salty nuts.
Thank you.
Put them salty nuts in your mouth.
Alright.
Alright. So I am doing the only thing I can do. So I'm also trying to quell all of the barbarian upbringing, which is
Really?
Barbarian
Yeah.
upbringing.
I mean, you got his blood boiling with 2 hastes in a row without his
Wait.
consent.
If
I
his
didn't
blood is
realize
boiling,
that
wouldn't
was-
calm emotions affect that?
So he ain't calmed his own. He calms other people's. He's
Yeah, no,
using
I
his
calmed
own
your
training
emotions.
to calm his own.
Is this the
self.
most angry we've
No, no.
ever like?
It's not anger.
had
It's not anger.
Brian,
Blood boiling. It's
That
more
was
like
considerably earlier.
yeah. So it's not anger. It's more like
Yeah.
just
So it would have
Adrenaline.
started up again.
yeah.
It's just the most adrenaline force we've seen you.
Yes, you would not have seen Cranmor this.
Because we've seen
I
him,
just
we've seen him
cited.
pretty adrenaline forced in the past.
Yeah, and this was just more of this was not in his control at all.
Yeah.
Well, it
Well,
was,
a little bit, a
and
little
that
bit.
you could have like been
But
non-willing.
I could have
Do we-
turned it off, but I didn't want to because it was on the goal. It was on Cranmor's goal.
But we noticed it's a
Watch it
bit,
like we're going.
but we noticed it's a bit more than natural.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I mean, he bolts
Yeah.
out from you guys. Like he's just.
Way faster than
You've
You have
never
not seen him this fast.
You've never seen him move that fast.
So when one person travels at one speed in one direction, we travel at a different speed in a different direction. What time do we meet together at that same place?
No, I'm
Never.
after him.
Never.
With way smaller legs.
Because we moved in
and less
different
legs.
directions.
Yeah.
So he's having to use time to recover from
No, it's a spherical world.
the concussion of
That's
whatever
true.
the spell is.
Well, yeah, because for
I'm not
years,
flatters.
you have Weatherby, yeah.
Yes. So it's just sort of like. Thump.
Yeah. So we finally get to the door, and Cranmor is like slumped down.
But by the
Yeah.
time you get to the door,
trying
he's
not
fine
to
again.
snore. Oh, okay.
Make a wisdom save for me.
Alright. Can I just use my ability to?
Yeah. So it's not gonna it's not gonna
20.
affect.
That works.
I rolled a 20.
Okay. Yeah. So it wasn't going to affect like the fact of whether or not you did it. It's going to affect the speed.
So Norman shows up. Ambulance!
Whoa!
In a very excited but not rushed way. Ambulance!
You're not riding him.
I'm.
Anal? What?
Ambulance!
Oh my god.
I kind of freaked out by it.
No, you're not
This.
freaked out. It's a very like.
No, I am.
Oh, really?
I, like you're
So-
like.
His
I'm like
behavior.
worried you're
I'm not
possessed or
Oh,
something.
I'm not hasting. No.
Because I don't know that he cast that on you.
So his behavior is back to normal now.
Yeah, you look.
It
I look.
was
But I
weird.
look
So you
very.
still have the residual
I look
effects
like
from
the
that.
normal
Yeah.
self I am, but with like like a bit of
But you said
positivity.
Ambulance.
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 No,
Yeah, I'm
no,
freaked out.
Norrin, it's okay. I gave him speed.
Yeah.
You
I-
gave him.
We found the
What?
reliquary. This
What
is
do
the
you mean
place.
you gave him
This is
speed?
where we place
It's
it.
a thing that I can do. I can touch somebody and make them go faster.
I put my hand to Rashido.
Oh.
Next time, I.
Did you know that you were
for
gonna do
fun,
that?
with some warning. That was amazing.
Okay, we can remember that.
Love it.
'Cause
Love it.
I can
Just.
I can do 2.
Yeah, I felt it.
Okay.
But I have control of my faculties. I'm just a bit sort of like we're at the goal
Yeah.
now.
Okay.
This is
So
where we
then-
go.
So there's a door there.
Yeah.
It's an
So then I
altar.
pull out the annulus after he convinces me, and I put it in the thing.
Okay,
You put it
the
in the
door that you see before you,
Slapping the counter table.
the door that you see before you, give me just a sec here.
Do you have notes on the door in your golden? Nuts
No, it's actually in a
dragon
different,
notebook?
it's in a different thing. It's actually on my board.
Only the most
phone.
important things are in that.
Yeah. Like,
Like my
simulated
good
annealing.
side.
Like your characters.
The exact flavor of your semen.
Yes.
That's enough. Yep.
Alright, so, what you see on this
Needy
door
pineapple is what the note said.
is a,
Damn it.
it's
I'm trying.
again, like, kind of etched into
Trying to
like
find-
the other one was. But this
Dang.
door shows scenes of a very graceful looking elven woman wielding a rapier and dagger, and it shows various scenes from different.
Like carved into it,
Yeah.
or okay.
It shows various
It looks
scenes
like the vision.
from the woman from your vision, just with unbelievable grace, moving about a battlefield. It's just dealing with many foes at once. You see her surrounded by them, and in the next frame, this great gust of wind has like blasted all of them apart, and she alone stands like triumphantly in the center of all of this. And there are many other similar scenes like in that same kind of vein.
Is it all imagery?
Yes. And as
Is it
who is it
colored?
who's putting the annulus in? The pigment is
Or is it just like straight, like sculpted?
it is colored. The pigment is very slightly faded, but it's still very. It looks much newer than you would expect.
Then I would expect meaning like the scouring.
Yeah, given
Because they're
327.
Within one day, I've seen things that like go back before the scouring to things that are like newer than the scouring.
This looks much newer than the scouring, but you
And-
know that it's not.
Oh, we know that it's
Wait.
not?
Oh yeah, these doors would.
I'm
they
moving
couldn't be.
forward.
They could be
yeah.
painted.
I still have a bit of
Afterwards.
Fuck
It could be.
doors.
Yeah, I just
Right.
I still feel a little bit.
That important? Like it's new. It looks newer than scouring, but we know it's older than the scouring.
I'll be a little bit more just forthright about it. It's magical, so the preservation
Okay.
is magical.
Okay. Okay. Makes sense.
Rashido. Do we see like a target for?
Oh yeah, the annulus is like
Yeah, I put it in there.
No,
Yeah.
he put it in. The door's open.
I put it in.
The door
I'm
is-
walking
the
through.
door is opening.
And I'm kind of like grabbing Rashido, like we're in. I'm bringing. Is right. So that's content to me, which means I've grabbed him and we're going in.
Okay.
Are we right behind him at this point? Or?
Jasna is also like right behind you because she's very interested in this as well.
Okay.
Wait, I would be the
I got her
first
too.
in, though.
No, Cranmor's
No,
definitely the
you're
first
not.
in. Cranmor's like pushing past you, like
Yes.
I'm
Oh,
in
he
here.
pushes past me. Okay.
Yes. As soon as the doors are clear,
Clearly.
I'm like. going
I'm
through.
assuming that he is very much eager.
Yes,
Okay.
with Rashido and Jasna.
That character's definitely displayed that. As
So as far underground as you are, there is seemingly a shaft of light coming inward to the reliquary,
Yep.
You want to see my shaft?
shining down directly on the altar,
You want to see my
whereupon lies
Sure.
in very ceremoniously placed
I wow.
brackets.
I wow with my mouth open.
You feel like some weird, salty
Beautiful.
liquid splash across.
A beautiful rapier with this
Rapier?
intricately forged, swept hilt, and what look to be currents of wind riding up the blade. And on another bracket just next to it is a dagger with a sort of flamberge-style waved blade.
I'm looking at my own hands, and I'm looking to Rashido
I'm already
and
off your
Jasna.
back. I'm levitating
Yeah.
towards it.
Yeah.
Jasna is also going forward, and she sees you going forward too, and she says, "Oh, well, how should we do this?"
There are two things there.
You can
One for
try.
each hand.
There's no like thing in between them, or no like obstacle to get past, or just right there.
No,
on the
it's
altar.
just the reliquary. At this point, you've done all the obstacles. It's
It will only accept
Can I
you
do an
if you're
insight check
worthy.
on the thing to see if I get any insight about whether it might transmute to my use of it?
so you have no reason other than what I've told you out of character to know
Okay, so
that.
I won't do that. But I'm still thinking about
Transmute?
to something other than what it is.
I walk
Oh,
up to
okay,
I walk
so
up to
that's-
Jasmine
that's
and whisper in her
okay.
ear, "You deserve this." Go
I
get
didn't
it."
even know that out of character.
To whom? To whom?
She,
Marthos. To whom?
Jasna.
Jasna.
Who? What do you say?
I walk up to her and whisper. I said, "You deserve this. Go get it."
Shit.
I
Jasna,
notice that she's moving a little faster than me, and I haste myself.
I stop.
so she looks at you and she says, "Let's figure this out."
Alright, I need you to watch.
From my perspective,
it out. I support whoever.
okay.
I'm gonna grab some water.
From my
I-
perspective,
Don't reply. The minute that she starts talking to me, I haste myself. This is shiny. This is a thing. She's moving towards it well. I want to get to it first.
Both things.
They're near each other, right?
Yeah,
not
they're right
separate.
next to each other.
You don't care which one you get, or you're looking
Are you
for
going
one.
for both?
One
I'm.
out of
Like-
curiosity.
How far apart are they?
very close. They're
Yeah,
like
I would
less
think
than a
like
foot.
I could
Yeah,
grab
they'll,
both
like,
of them. Yeah,
take both
If
of
you,
them.
if you
yeah.
can, grab both of them.
No, I'm going there for both of them. Like I see her moving in that direction, and Farkin is utterly and completely focused on the shining pedestals.
Okay.
So he vaguely sees that she's doing a thing, and he hastens himself to get there faster.
Okay.
Like it's not. It's weird saying that haste is an action in this case because I think he does it subconsciously.
Okay.
You know
Do
what
you
I'm
still
saying?
do you still have a spell slot for
I
it?
do. Yes,
Okay.
I have one more spell slot, one more third level spell slot.
Okay. In that case, let me see what spells she has. But I think that might just do it. Because I don't think she's going to she's not going to try
I
to
spent
attack you or do anything. like-
2 on Cranmor.
She's not gonna do anything if he tries to grab both. She's not gonna do anything if he tries to grab both.
As far as she's aware, they're a package deal. So
Jess, the dagger.
as far as
and the
any of you
rapier.
are aware,
Yeah,
like they're so
yeah.
close together and they're clearly
And
like
on the
Oh.
door and everything.
yeah. And rapier and dagger is
Yeah.
like it is a known weapon combination to use. So like.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
If you get one, you get both. Yeah, okay.
Two people.
She doesn't really have a way to beat you, so she just like stands shocked and is like, oh. Alright. So, you grab both of them in hand and immediately die now.
Okay. That doesn't happen. They like literally, seriously. There's
No,
this
for sure.
pedestal and
Absolutely.
glowing things, and he's just like he's moving towards it, and he sees somebody else, and he's like, "Fuck, I need to get there first."
Absolutely.
Bam.
Yeah, no, it makes
Like,
sense. That's what you would do.
That's
for
his
sure.
character. Yep.
100%. Awesome. Okay. So
It's gonna he's going to regret it because he likes Jasna and they have fun together, but in the moment.
no, for sure. That's absolutely I commend you. That's absolutely what Rashido would do.
That's actually one of his flaws. Yeah, I hate to admit it. I'll run and preserve my own. Yeah.
Okay, so you grab Windstorm and Baram, the names of which you immediately know as you take them in hand.
Really?
It's
Okay.
almost like a link is made between you and these weapons.
Rashido got it.
You are instantly aware of what they are and what they do. So what they do is the following. And I'll make these on D&D Beyond so that you can add them to your
Okay.
character sheet and all that stuff.
Now, you had said before you get into this too much, you had said that they form into things that.
Oh,
Perfect
yes,
for you.
very much so. So what does Rashido want?
The thing that I know when I would be if I'm using both hands, I'm going to bring them together into a quarterstaff that I trained with while
Okay.
I was with Azarath.
Okay, so you grab the rapier and the dagger, and you can feel them beginning to change. You can almost hear them saying, "What do you want us to be?"
How do we see the merging of the two weapons?
And yeah, so you guys begin to see them start to glow, and Rashido kind of twists the dagger in one hand and puts the pommels together. And as they link, the gleaming kind of blurs between the two.
Are you am I Darth Maul right now?
It's like a
Oh, yeah,
it's like a
totally.
magnet.
Did I just fucking Darth Maul this shit?
Yeah, so you put them together.
Oh my god,
This-
seriously?
The gleaming light blurs between the two of them, and they kind of merge into one form. And Rashido is now holding a quarterstaff, the ends of which each look slightly different. The bottom end, kind of the butt cap, if you were to envision it like a polearm, has a kind of wave to it, like it's like the
Okay,
flamberge
so
wave
it's more
in the
of like
dagger.
that. Okay. All right.
And the top of it narrows, not quite to a point, so it's not like a stabbing weapon,
Yeah.
but it narrows into kind of an elegant curve like the edge of a rapier.
Okay. All right.
So there are two distinct ends that one will work with the magical effects of Windstorm and the other with the effects of Baram. And I'm looking at this and realizing that I did in fact
You're gonna
miss
probably
two
have
things.
to do. Yeah.
So just broad strokes. They are +2 weapons, each of them.
Each, I thought it's one.
I assume
quarterstaff.
that's just. That
Oh,
makes
yeah.
+2, not a plus.
So
not a plus
it-
4. It doesn't multiply.
right. But effectively, it's a +2 if you hit with the front or the back.
Okay.
In normal terms, it's just a +2 quarterstaff.
I don't have the feat that allows me to.
So
do
Morthos got the second
Yeah,
weapon.
with
But
the-
you can choose. Basically, you
Not
can
really,
choose the
not
normal
really.
attack to be.
Really?
either.
You missed a really cool scene.
Yeah.
Actually.
If you hit with the
What
Baram
happened? He
and
became Darth Maul.
its force damage is the extra +1.
Oh, really? So
Yep.
Baram is the the small end is +1.
Is there like an emperor there to see?
Yep.
Okay.
With the Windstorm end, once a day you can send an attack 30 feet, which does the normal attack damage plus an extra d4 slashing, and all damage from the attack is magical.
So 30 feet once per day plus what?
Plus 1d4 slashing damage.
Okay.
You're
gonna put this on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you don't need to write it
Is
all
that
down.
gonna mess you up with the quarterstaff thing?
No,
Okay.
I'll figure it out.
All right.
Baram allows you to once a day with a DC 8 plus your wisdom plus your proficiency cause an enemy in melee range to make a con save or be stunned until the start of its next turn. It also acts as an immovable rod with a weight limit up to only 1,000 pounds.
Oh, wow.
That's not immovable.
That.
Yeah.
This is very heavy.
That is something that I'm going to make
Yeah.
a lot of use out of.
Yep.
We also have another immovable rod.
Yes, but that one I think
In
has
case you don't know.
even a
Yeah.
lower weight range.
Oh, okay. I
remember.
don't know.
But
It's
that's
stuck
not-
up someone's ass right now.
Yeah.
Well, no, the other person's movable rod is in my throat.
It has 2 charges, the Baram end. Expending
Has
one of
2
them
charges.
when you hit will allow you to add a d6 of force
It's not a
damage.
judge, you know. It's just,
And then
I'm not gonna. This is like.
yeah, it's
I'm
a
not
lot.
writing this down.
there's a couple of other things for Windstorm that I've not yet determined apparently. However, Morthos, as this happens, your weapon involuntarily, like without you summoning it, it just appears in your hand. And it is wrapped in vines once again that shatter off of it as it bursts into your grip.
shoot it up into the air.
Yeah, it's like glowing, and you can feel,
feel that
extra
right now.
power emanating from it.
What's-
So I think I'm a little bit behind on giving you the extra effects from this. Go ahead.
What's the name of my combined weapon?
It is still Windstorm and Baram. If you'd like to come up with a separate name for it, you can. But basically, the one end is still
Windbrew
Windstorm, and the
change.
other end is Baram.
Windbroom. Bronstorm.
Brainstorm sounds good. I like
It does actually.
Now you're
actually does sound really good.
you're actually really good at
Brainstorm's
stuff.
cool, I like
You're
that.
helping me.
Brainstorm is good. I'm going with that.
Bronstorm, like BRONSTROM.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
going with. That's
Cool.
fucking
That sounds
awesome.
cool.
I like
Yeah.
it.
Wimbrin.
BRAUN.
The Brainstorm sounds cool.
Brainstorm is good. Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel the power, just like shoot it, like almost like a touchdown.
Shooting that power
And
up into
So
your veins.
you've already got the +1, and you've already got the 1d4 rating.
Hard on.
Yeah. Yes.
Once a day, you can cast Detect Good and Evil.
Is this
Whoa.
things that we already had or things that are?
This is stuff that he should have, but I guess I neglected to mention them when they
Should
were
put that
updated.
in notes or
Okay.
apply to the weapon.
I'll actually make a weapon for Varison as well, and I'll give you that
okay.
in D&D Beyond.
I guess
What
I'm
kind of,
asking
I think
is
I've
that-
adjusted I've like customized my weapon at this point.
Yeah.
The weapon that I had.
Is Varison getting?
It is very
Bonus
clearly
effects.
responding to the releasing
Okay.
of Windstorm and Barrage.
Alright.
Feeling inspired.
Like you actually begin
Windstorm
to
and
hear
Baram?
a resonance between the two of them. Like they actually are. It's almost
So-
like they're communicating and reverberating.
So I feel like an urge to kind of walk up to Rashido and kind of like cheers his weapon with my weapon.
Oh, I'm not done though. You know that 1d4 that you get versus chaotic evil things? Yeah, it's 2d4 now. Also, it becomes a +2 weapon instead of a +1.
Nice.
And
You're
normally, detect evil and good is a range of 30 feet. When this is released and it becomes a +2 weapon, that radius also increases to 120 feet.
Whoa. You can see evil coming from like a mile away.
Yeah. Or like
Much
Or
less than a
120
mile
feet.
away.
or like a 20th of a mile.
Way less than a mile away.
Like a mile's like 5,280 feet. 120 feet.
Yeah, like a 500th of a mile.
But what's important is you can see good coming. It's not going to surprise you.
Yeah.
It's the good or the bad.
He's gonna
Or
see
the ugly.
coming
That one's
into
just
his
your eyesight
face
range.
from 120 feet away. Yep.
Oh no, it's good!
These weapons are powerful as you unlock more of them. They're really fun.
Clearly.
Really cool. Yeah.
Clearly. So then I walk up and almost cheers him with the weapon, like we clash him.
Alright. So, that is where we will end tonight's session, I think. Unless. What's the roll for it?
I was rolling a performance. It's 12 to spin
Oh,
it
for-
around and touch
Right.
various
It's a pretty cool flourish. You know, it's not hard.
We touch our tips.
Yeah. I know how dangerous
This guy.
that is with you. I get it.
Feels good.
Yeah. Don't touch his tail.
Great. But that is
Oh,
where
the
we
tail
will-
is whipping around a little bit, you know.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little.
It's like, ooh,
got some-
this is
it's got
happy
some, like-
times.
It's like
Happy times.
it's going back and
indeed.
forth. It just like goes vibrate.
And on that note, we'll end the session. So thank you all for joining in to BionDnD, and may all
You got
your
it.
rolls be lucky.